Today on America's Day at the Races, the feature from Aqueduct is fiercely competitive. Yankee Division is the one to beat. After a trio of disappointing efforts, he ended 2021 on a strong note, returning to the winner's circle in the same condition he'll run back in today. Meanwhile, in Hot Springs, Arkansas, a millionaire returns for his 8-year-old season, debuting in a new barn. Former Breeders' Cup Sprint runner-up CZ Rocket returns to the site of his last win when he claimed the Count Fleet over Whitmore last April. All that and more coming up on this Friday edition of America's Day at the Races. It's brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. Good to have you with us on FS2, South Ozone Park, Hot Springs, Arkansas. We'll bring you all the action coming up. Greg Wolf alongside New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Serling. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Great to be back here with you. It's a beautiful day here at Aqueduct. It's winter, but it's warm. It's nice. We got 4 races here. We've got 6 at Oaklawn. CZ Rocket, as you mentioned, returning in the 8th race. We'll see if he can get his form back. I don't think there's anyone in the field that comes close to having the quality he's had. But I think you have to be concerned as he gets older. Is he still the same horse?
Yeah, we'll try and answer that. Well, we will answer that question a little bit later on today. He needs to break better than he did in that Breeders' Cup Sprint. Meanwhile, our feature here in New York, Yankee Division, 3 consecutive just didn't show up starts, and then all of a sudden he runs one of the better races of his career last start.
He did. Now, he is best, as most speed horses are, when he can control on the front end. And there is plenty of speed in this race, particularly right inside of him with the 8 Water's Edge. Now, he's a better horse than Water's Edge, but is he going to run his best race if he's denied the lead? And 7 Lilies, the gray that we're taking a look at here, I would say this was excellent race riding by Trevor McCarthy, kind of using his position to put that one inside towards the rail, had to angle and go around, and 7 Lilies could have won this race to clean trip, gets even more pace today, and is his chief rival. An amazing day so far at Aqueduct, Greg. We have seen 4 straight odds-on favorites not just lose, but not a single one of them hit the board.
That is a rarity, no question. Well, 7 Lilies going to try and win for the second time in the last 3 starts. 5-2 on the morning line from down on that inside post. Those 2 seem like the major players in this race, but you brought up Water's Edge too. I mean, a horse who improving 4-year-old, but he's going to have to step up to compete against the likes of those 2.
He is, and it feels like he had a ton of potential. Finished second, the very talented American Revolution, and while American Revolution has obviously gone and do some sensational things, he's been sort of flat in his buyer figure standpoint. I thought it was between the 1 and 2B, 7 Lilies and Yankee Division, but a lot of people have thought a lot of races were sort of one-horse races around here, and they have turned out to be anything but that.
Well, that is race 8 today in New York. The feature again, Breeders' Cup Sprint runner-up in the past, CZ Rocket. That is their 8th. He'll have the rail and move into a new barn with Renee Amescua. Peter Miller, of course, taking a leave of absence from racing. 9-5 on the morning line. Got off to a slow start in that Breeders' Cup Sprint. Really didn't put in much of a run. Of course, who's usually extremely competitive at the highest level.
And that is the highest level there is. And I think there are a lot of horses in this race that would say, I wish I could have only lost the Breeders' Cup Sprint by 5 lengths. And you mentioned the trainer switch. It's not as substantial a switch you may see because you mentioned with Peter Miller out, this is his ex-assistant or his not assistant now taking over. I don't worry about that, but it does feel like his figures were tapering off a little bit, but he's so good.
Yeah.
If he runs anywhere close to his good race, he's just too much worse for these.
Well, of course, today marks the big story, the big return of our likely Eclipse Award winner's outstanding jockey, Joel Rosario, hairline rib fracture. That was suffered December 2nd. He is back riding today. With more, let's go to our Hall of Famer, Gary Stevens.
Yeah, guys, beautiful day here in Hot Springs. It's about 50 degrees, overcast skies right now, fast racetrack, good on-track crowd here, but lots of excitement with the return of CZ Rocket and also Joel Rosario. Joel earning nearly $34 million last year. He missed the last about 3 weeks of 2021. He's excited to get back here riding today. We're excited to watch him for his first full season here in Hot Springs at Oaklawn Park. It's going to be a good, tough meet for all of these riders now with the addition of Joel Rosario to this already deep and talented jockey colony here at Oaklawn. Guys?
No question. I mean, he's the man who's going to likely take home. I would be a huge upset if he didn't. That hardware for an outstanding rider. He was chasing 3 records towards the end of last year, which he would have made it close. Graded stakes wins, and earnings for a year. He came close to all 3.
Yeah, he's got such good stats that he would get the votes of people like us that pay attention on a day-to-day basis, and then even the voters that don't pay any attention and shouldn't have a vote, that votes based only on the money. If people voted responsibly, I think he might have won last year as well, and that's no knock on Irad Ortiz, who's not an undeserving winner. But I thought Joel deserved it as much, if not more, and this year he'll get his just due, and he's such a terrific rider.
Going to see a lot of him at this meet full-time, riding in Hot Springs this winter and spring coming up. Here's a look at today's action, brought to you by Claiborne Farm. So we'll have the late pick 4 ahead in New York. Track is fast here in South Ozone Park. That 8th with Yankee Division. 7 Lilies, part of that sequence. And then in Hot Springs, they're fast as well. And that 8th race, the return for his 8-year-old campaign. Former Breeders' Cup runner-up CZ Rocket, son of City Zip, who's won over $1.5 million in his career. You can play it all by getting signed up and started with Naira Bets. Take advantage of that offer. $200 deposit sign-up bonus with that promo code BONUS200. Go to NairaBets.com or download the Naira Bets app, including getting involved in this pick 4 that we have ahead here in New York. New York Breds, this is a maiden special weight. Nobody with a win on the resume yet. And BC Glory Days, this will be his 10th career starts. He's coming off a 2nd place finish. He's had efforts good enough to win in this field, some of the best efforts of anybody in the field. But has he had enough opportunities for you?
He has had many. I bet him in his debut. Fortunately, I haven't lost a lot of money on him since then. I like the 1 Lindros. I think this is a horse that really would benefit from being aggressively ridden. And with his rail position, assuming a clean break, he's the speed. And I'd like to see his rider be aggressive and inside. If he is, I believe he has a good chance to lead them on a merry chase.
Well, we're going to take a timeout. We'll set the stage for the 6th. When we return, again, it's the beginning of the late pick 4, and that man right there, yeah, new dad, Trevor McCarthy, just won the previous race on the card to kick off the late pick 5. He'll be on board Feathers Road, coming up for Linda Rice when we return.
A Grade 1 winner of nearly $2 million, Silver State hails from the sire line of legendary Claiborne Stallion Danzig. And his 2nd dam is full sister to Kentucky Derby winner Monarchos. After winning the Oaklawn Handicap, Silver State defeated Knicks Go in the Grade 1 Metropolitan Handicap. On the board in 12 of 14 starts from ages 2 to 4, his career included a 6-race winning streak. Grade 1 winner Silver State, standing at Claiborne Farm.
son of Warfront. The sons have done well. War Command, The Factor, Declaration of War. There have been a number of sons now that seem to be getting it done. He himself was, again, versatile like Catholic Boy. I mean, he won the Preakness.
But nothing stood in his way. War of Will won the Preakness.
He came back at 4 and won a grade 1 on the turf, going a mile. You know, he's got a big page that's from one of the good Niarchos families.
Look, he was a grade 1 stakes horse at 2. He was a classic winner on dirt at 3. He won a grade 1 on turf at 4. He offers that versatility. He looks a lot like Warfront with a little more stretch and a little more leg. And I know a lot of the knocks against the Warfronts are that sometimes a little small, a little racy. If he throws Warfront's ability and talent with his kind of physique, I think we'll be in really good shape.
Well, we are glad to have their support. Legendary Claiborne Farm, 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. Look at the current odds for the 6th here in New York. There's Lindros, 4-1. The gray will be hard to miss from that inside post and should be trying probably to lead the way in this spot here. Let's check in for the first time this afternoon for more on this field. For a Paddock Report with Maggie Wolfendale.
Oh, the weather has changed, that's for sure, for the latter half of this Aqueduct card, Greg. At least as of now, I'm getting a headwind as far as horses coming down the stretch. It's evidenced by my hair. But taking a look at the inside runner, Lindros, whom Andy is interested in, I'm interested in too, because what Andy said is true. This horse needs an aggressive ride, especially down from that inside post position, and he has the physicality to suggest that he should be quick. He is built downhill. He has those really rounded out hindquarters, and now he's second off a layoff. So there's every reason to believe, from what my observations are, that he's stronger behind the saddle too. So he's not necessarily giving off the impression that he's that much sharper, though, which I wish he was. He's still very laid back and composed here in the paddock, but I do think he deserves another shot before he is automatically written off, a second off the bench. Number 7, Feathers Road. He'll turn back in distance after being the beaten favorite just 8 days ago here at the Big A. Now, I was intrigued to see him run long on the dirt. He looks like a horse that I have always thought wants to run longer, but Linda brings him back off short rest, which he is very good at and has had success with before. And this horse possesses everything you want to see from a horse coming back off the short layoff. Energy is good, weight is good, very typical of Linda's horses. I just wonder how he's going to negotiate the 6 furlongs, and ultimately, is he truly a dirt horse? Now, there's a first-time starter in the mix that is taking some nibbles on the board as of early. Number 5, the Cobbler, shows up for Danny Gargan as a newly turned 4-year-old. It's not quite 4 yet, technically speaking, as he's an April foal, but he's a big boy. Now, it's taken him a while to get here, so you always have to be somewhat suspect of that, but Danny brings him in here incredibly fit. It looks as though he has run before, despite his big size. You know, you wonder about these horses when they are so big. Are they a bit stuffy? Are they going to have to race into fitness? I'm not picking that up off him. What I am picking up off of him, though, is that is he really a 6 furlong horse? You know, the dam never broke her maiden while running on the turf and synthetic, though one of his half siblings, who is running in Florida, is pretty good, but he's better going longer, and he just feels like a horse that might be wanting a bit more ground, as he's also pretty laid back here in the paddock, Greg.
All right, Maggie, thank you. It's the first time starter who is taking certainly some significant money, although a couple of scratches in here as well. But we'll see how this first timer for Danny Gargan fares. 5-1 right now.
Yeah, I mean, I have him in there, you know, partly out of respect for Danny Gargan, but also because I've seen enough of these. Listen, there's nobody in this race that would be impossible. I don't think you could look at this race and say, I'll be shocked if anyone wins here. But Rue Pub's had 19 chances. BC Glory Days, 9 chances. And his races are all starting to look the same. Feathers Road's really a turf horse. Not to say that he couldn't win this race, but he's really a turf horse. And Scherzando, he's probably the logical type, but how good are his starts really? It's why I like the 1. He's underexposed. And, you know, you look at Lindros, his first race, he lost Excellent Timing, who did win a stake race in his next start. He didn't pan out, but he chased that one. He's very fast. And then they rated him last time. Stop rating him. go to the front with him and try your best. If he goes to the front and loses, I'll be satisfied. I never have to bet him again.
9-2. Here he is. We'll see how far he can take that speed in here, coming out of a race in which several return in here, including BC Glory Days, including Brew Pub, the 3, who's at 7-1 right now. But yeah, a lot of these have had several chances. Brew Pub, 0 for 19. He is making an equipment change. We'll see if that can wake him up a little bit.
You know, those when you have a horse like this, and a lot of equipment changes are desperation, and trainers would tell you that. You know, I mean, sometimes a rider sees something, and sometimes they see something and make a change, and sometimes it really matters. But in general, for a 20-time starter making this change, they're just getting desperate.
Let's bring in Jonathan Kinchin for more as we get set for the Pick 4 coming up. JK.
Yeah, you know, Andy talked about at the top of the show how all these favorites keep losing. Very frustrating for a horse player. Tried to beat both favorites in the first 2 legs of the Pick 6. Didn't have either winner. Off to a great start. If you like carryovers, fingers crossed. We might be looking at one of those. As far as this, I like the one Lindros as well, down on the inside. I think when you're trying to work through what to expect from a horse, one of my favorite things to do is start at the bottom of the past performances and just kind of tell yourself a story as you work through. This horse debuted December 20th, took some money that day. For connections that aren't typically in New York. So taking money, shipping up, there must have been a story there. They must have thought the horse had some talent. Obviously had an issue, didn't run again until July, tried on the turf, caught soft turf, then had clearly another issue and didn't get back until December of this year. Now gets to run together kind of a 2 races into a cycle. I like sometimes when there's kind of an unassuming field when I've drawn the rail, because I think that sometimes it forces the hand of the rider to be a little bit more aggressive, and there's not a bunch of world beaters surrounding you. So I'm hopeful that the one Lindros can run well as well. The 6, Scherzando, DT Stables, we always root for our friend Steve Bick. This is a horse that just, you know, if you look at speed figures and you look at the rest of the horses, you kind of say to yourself, sure, this horse could win. But there's really not a whole lot to grab onto outside of that. And also, this horse has had a little bit of trouble getting away from the gate throughout his career. Will need to break better today. But at 5-1, I think if you're interested in the 6, there's enough price there, I think, that you could take a little bit of a swing.
And apparently it's Casual Friday for JK, who dresses casual as it is already.
Well, I'm going to send him a Philadelphia Flyers jersey. I may not be able to tell you what songs are on a Jay-Z CD or whatever, but I can tell you who Eric Lindros is, JK.
Legion of Doom.
He was number 88. I knew that. I know that much.
Did you pronounce it Eric Lindros?
I just got so nervous. You just didn't hear me very well.
I heard you.
It's his first segment of the week. He's getting the rust off.
Getting right on him right away.
Here's one of many here. Look, this is another one who's had plenty of opportunities, Scherzando, but this horse has put together, I think, kind of sneaky good efforts the last couple of starts.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, listen, the dangerous thing here is that Jonathan and I see this race fairly similarly. That's one of the dangerous things. I don't see why. I don't think there'll be any surprise if the 7 wins this race. Why is that horse 2-1 and horses like the 6 5-1? I don't think it's really defensible when you start taking their PPs apart. I mean, Feathers Road, it's interesting. I think Feathers Road might be more suited to sprinting. Maggie thinks the horse is maybe more suited to going longer. So at least that says to me, I may not be right, that I may just be assuming this horse. And he also may be better suited to sprinting on the turf, not necessarily in the dirt.
Yeah. Well, so I could forgive that debut. Sloppy track when he was sprinting. And
yeah,
I thought he showed, even in that race, even though he got beat, ran dead last,
okay.
He showed some ability early.
And Linda Rice's horses often need a start first time out, and they'll improve a lot from their first start.
Post parade coming up here for the race that kicks off this late pick 4 on our Friday card. There's the sole first-time starter in the field, the cobbler for Danny Gargan. We'll see if a new face can get it here. But here's Lindros at 7-2.
Listen, Jonathan and I are on the same page. We're both hoping he breaks and he goes to the front. And this is a horse whose races are better than they look on paper, and he's had a lot less chances than most.
Brew Pub, we talked about. He's 0 for 19. He does take blinkers off today, and he's got plenty of efforts that fit in here.
Absolutely. He's fast enough to win a race like this, but you have to start questioning his desire to win.
BC Glory Days, he was the morning line favorite.
His first race was his best race. He's run similar types, but once again, he just keeps having the same chances and not getting it done.
Manny Franco, and the first-time starter for Danny Gargan.
Yeah, I've got to use Gargan. The second dam was a very, very good sprinter type that ran 90 buyers.
Scherzando, over 7.
Yeah, but I thought Jonathan made a reasonable case for this horse. He's been probably improving. More than the others, he seems to be improving.
Feathers Road going to cut back in distance, only his 3rd dirt start.
Like I said, wouldn't be shocked if he does well, but do you really need a short price on this horse? It's not clear. It's clear to me he's a better turf horse. Doesn't mean he can't win here, but I still think he's running on the wrong surface, and I don't need to take a horse as the favorite, who I believe very clearly is running on the least preferred surface.
So post time coming up, just a minute away, and it's back to favoritism with this guy right here. 4-year-old son of Brody's Cause for John Terranova. 10th time out. And it's hard to argue that that probably was his best effort in his debut, going a mile in the mud.
I bet him that day he ran super. He dueled with the whole field, and he just got sort of nailed in the late stages. But, you know, you start to also wonder a little with him. You know, I would have thought, but then again, he had that bad race off the return, but it was a pretty quick pace. He might be better suited to the mile races where the paces often aren't as fast, and he can sort of control the speed. The sprints, the paces are faster, and it doesn't give him the same position where he can potentially control. He's favored now.
5-2. He's had most of his opportunities. 4 of his 6 starts on dirt have come on off track, so get fast going again today. Let's check back with Maggie.
Wow, like I said, the wind is a serious factor. The weather has changed. I'm not standing out in it. I'm trying to avoid it, to be perfectly honest. That's why I'm not on camera right now. I'm still getting blasted in the face with it, though, as it is a serious headwind going down the backside and tailwind coming into the stretch. But let's talk a little bit about Scherzando, a horse that I've liked physically in most of his recent efforts. I just wish Eric Cancel gave him more of a warm-up. I mean, he kind of stayed with the pony, didn't really do much. And for a horse that doesn't tend to break well or that alertly, I want this horse to be having his feet underneath him, his blood flowing, and that's just not what I'm seeing. I wanted to try to pick something else other than JK and Andy, but Lindros, after watching the warm-ups, is who I ultimately like as well, guys.
That Maggie's stealing our picks.
A lot of weight on
speak to her.
The horse from the rail. Making his 4th career
Poor
start.
Lindros. He has no idea what he's carrying, but when he starts feeling really tired around the 16th pole, it'll be because of that weight.
Oh, you see that flag blowing in the wind Maggie was talking about.
Well, I also think, you know, one of the tried true things in handicapping, and there are a lot of things I think we all do that we did when we first started handicapping. The less chances a horse has in a maiden race, the more appealing they become. Mm-hmm. The more chances, the less appealing they are. And I think that every one of us starts out right away by seeing Lindros and saying, well, unlike the others, he's not a proven loser. Jonathan pointed out he's not a turf horse. Who cares about a second start? How much better than his 2 races he have to be? And the other thing he's doing, for the first time in his career, he's pairing up starts, right? He's making 2 starts in a row, and that has to be a good sign.
Yeah, we'll see. That's big chance for improvement here. Public sees it that way as well, but it's still BC Glory Days, the 4 with Dylan Davis for John Terranova, 2-1 favorite. Actually clicks down another notch from 5-2 to 2-1 favoritism. We're set. This race kicks off the pick 4. It was our man Mike at 9-1 to kick off the pick 5 back in the 5th with Trevor McCarthy for a ratio to pause. We'll see what happens here, but here's the one who looks to be leading them. Gate to wire, according to our analysts, John Imbrial, with the call to kick off the pick 4 on this Friday card from Aqueduct.
Waiting for Scherzando and Feathers Road. And they're all in. Field of 6 for race 6 at 6 furlongs. And they're off. Hesitant beginning for number 6, Scherzando. A good start for Lindros from that inside post position. Lindros quickly in front here by almost 2 lengths. The Cobbler is racing in second. BC Glory Days is next in third, followed by Feathers Road on the outside in fourth. Then it is Brew Pub and the slow starting Scherzando. Lindros the leader here by a little more than 2. With the Cobbler second by a half length. BC Glory Days next and third. Down at the rail is Brew Pub. The quarter went in 24 seconds. It is Lindros on top here. Lindros by a length. The Cobbler is in second by a half length. Brew Pub is down at the rail in third. Then BC Glory Days and Feathers Road, followed at the back by Scherzando. Lindros is challenged here by the Cobbler. They are heads apart for the lead. Feathers Road is just in behind in third. Scherzando's on the extreme outside. Then Brew Pub and BC Glory Days, half mile 49 and 1. And the Cobbler's in front. The Cobbler in front and drawing away here. The Cobbler in front by 4. Then Brew Pub, and on the outside, Scherzando with Feathers Road. It is first time starter, the Cobbler, to win here under Manny Franco. Brew Pub completes the exacta, and Feathers Road was third.
You gave us the winner. It all goes back to the handicapping angle you talked about.
Less starts.
This horse had no starts. The Cobbler debut win at 6-1.
Well, once the 1 was eliminated with the 3 of us picking him, I should have gone to my second choice, the 5, the Cobbler. And I think, all of us got what we wanted from Lindros. He broke sharply. The rider put him in front. He's just not much racehorse. Nothing you can do about it. But you know what? Those are the kind of losses that are easy to absorb. Just wrong. As far as the Cobbler, in the game the whole way, and a dominant winner. And once again, Greg, it's not that complicated. The less starts, the more you like them, right? And, neither one of us are big fans of betting first-time starters. But I think in races like this, you have to use them.
Yep, many had shown their true colors. So a new face steps up at 6-1. Fourth coming up at Oaklawn. Gary talked about Joel Rosario returning. We'll see him in this race coming up. Let's go back to Gary Stevens.
Yeah, guys, Joel Rosario coming off the broken rib injury. And listen, ribs are never fun. They're irritating, but once it heals, you wake up one night and the pain's gone. I will say that as jockeys, and especially a jockey of Joel's caliber, you never get a break or a rest, time off. You're always constantly traveling somewhere, riding races. There's always a race to ride. And I think that he actually enjoyed this downtime during the holidays, took plenty of time to get that rib healed up. Listen, he's already rode 1 today. It's like riding a bicycle. He's been doing this for a long time. As I said, he's come off of injuries before. He's well mounted today. He's got 5 mounts left. Rides 1 in here. The 4 side town for Steve Asmussen's going to give him plenty of business here at this meet. He rides a number of horses for him today, including Cazadero in the feature race today. Hoping to get off the mark as soon as possible. When you're coming off these injuries, when you get that first win, it just feels better. He's going to win a race today. I'd almost guarantee it. And I know he would like to get off the mark right here, guys.
Gary, thanks. Yeah, good chance it does happen here. He's on the 9-5 favorite, the 4. And the 4 is the horse, not only to beat, he's the horse to catch. He looks like he's the quickest of anyone.
Yeah, he does. There's no question. He feels like the speed. I'm hesitant to take a horse that's moving up off a win in a non-winners of 2 lifetime, that had an easy run and didn't even run that big a figure. I prefer the 2 Fiery Tail for Francisco Arrieta.
Real quick, we do have a jockey's objection back at Aqueduct involving the 2nd and 3rd place finishers. So it finished 5-3, 7-6. We'll have more on that coming up in just a moment. But you see the 3 and 7 both flashing on the board. Let's go to Jonathan for more here on the 4th at Oaklawn.
Yeah, guys, I thought the outside horse was interesting. This is a horse that did not run particularly fast last time, but does have back numbers that fit with this group. Now, that's a plus in its own right when you're trying to find a horse with a little bit of value. But I think also the switch to Diodoro is something else that you could lean on. He doesn't even have to have the back numbers, and some horse players might assume there's going to be an improve switching to Diodoro. So for me, when you have the numbers, and they're pretty recent too, ran well enough for Peter Miller a couple starts back, I do feel like this horse does have a chance to improve, and I like the fact that he's drawn towards the outside and outside of his main competition.
All right, JK, thanks. 7-5 now on Side Town. Rosario's mount here, the 4. who is looking to win back-to-back starts here, went gate to wire at Churchill the last time we saw him. That was September 17th at Churchill Downs.
Yeah. It's just, where has he been? He wins a $10,000 claiming race. And listen, I don't love the Asmussen's off layoffs. It's not that long a layoff. I just feel like he's way overbet considering where is this particularly fast race? I mean, the 3 has a faster last race, at least according to the 2 does. I mean, buyer figures, and he's a much bigger price. So, I won't be surprised if he wins, but I'm going to bet a couple dollars on the number 2 horse in this race.
Well, Fiery Tail, the 2, coming out of an open 20 race.
Right.
Yeah, Sidetown won for 10,000 non-winners at 2 Life. There's Rosario moving in on the favorite. And his plans get to the front and see how far he can go. 4th from Oaklawn is next. Let's go to Vic Stauffer.
He's money. 2 more now. True Saint and Horse Greedy. They're at the post. They're off. Sidetown wins the break and goes right out for the front from True Saint, Horse Greedy, and Replete. Then comes a Fiery Tail, followed by Olsen and He's Money. Kisawa, Blue Ridge Traveler, and Superwise are next. Then Shake It, and the trailer is Fixico. Joel Rosario and Sidetown sprint away at the half-mile pole. Sidetown is 6 lengths in front of True Saint and Horse Greedy. A length and a half to Replete. 4th and about 8 from the lead. 2.5 more to Fiery Tail. Then comes He's Money, followed by Olsen, Kisawa, and Blue Ridge Traveler. They're all about 13 off the lead. Another 6 back to Fixico. The 2 trailers are Shake It, and at the back of the pack is Superwise, and Sidetown is the one to catch. It is Sidetown into the stretch with a 3-length lead over Horse Greedy, who begins to run after him in second. And here comes Horse Greedy, and he runs right by and takes over the lead, and Fiery Tail goes after him. So Horse Greedy and Fiery Tail, these are the 2. Horse Greedy reaches. Fiery Tail attacks. Gonna be close. Horse Greedy, Fiery Tail. Horse Greedy wins in front. Horse Greedy beat Fiery Tail. Replete was 3rd. Close for 4th between He's Money and Kisawa.
Diodoro, one of the best claiming trainers in the game, off the claim with a 9-year-old here from that outside post.
I thought he might have made a bad claim for 10,000. He claimed this horse coming in from Santa Anita. He ran a clunker at 2-1, but much different horse today. And I don't think it's Joel's fault with Sidetown. He was just a runoff. When a horse runs like that, 21-3, you know that he's going to get a little leg weary. I don't mind betting horses like the 2 at 4-1 every day of the week, but in this case, he just came up second best.
12-2, long way back to, I believe that was no, I thought I was going to say it was the 7. I'm not sure who that was.
I have no idea who it was, Greg. So.
We'll make it official for you when we come back. Horse Greedy takes a 4th here from Oaklawn. David Cohen, Diodoro, M&M Racing. Prices. We'll set up the 5th when we come back. Stay with us.
Good Magic's in front. Good Magic pulls away from Solomini. Good Magic's gonna win his first race, and he's gonna do it in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Good Magic to the front of the field in the Toyota Bluegrass to win it. The champ is back. Good Magic in a good-looking performance.
800,000, 75, 875, 8.5. Pete, 775,000. Thank you.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit nairabets.com.
This is the horse.
He is just too good.
This is the horse who became only the 2nd champion 2-year-old to win the Travers in 3 decades. This is the horse who is the only Breeders' Cup juvenile hero ever to lift the Belmont Stakes. history-making brilliance. That's his essential quality. Essential quality. This is the horse. Just imagine.
Blood Horse Plus, available through bloodhorse.com, provides exclusive, timely, and unmatched content to subscribers, including Fox Sports, Blood Horse branded weekly programs, a detailed stakes winners section, behind-the-scenes videos from Blood Horse staff, on-demand access to deeper horse statistics, and a $5 monthly credit to equineline.com. Upgrade to Blood Horse Plus today.
We're back on America's Day at the Races on FS2. Happy Friday, everybody. Good to have you with us. Greg Wolf, Andy Serling, Maggie Wolfendale, Gary Stevens, Jonathan Kinchin, all with you for today's coverage from Hot Springs and South Ozone Park. First time starter, the only firster in this field, kicks off the late pick for the Cobbler.
And this horse, I mean, you could almost make an argument this horse looked like a winner every step of the way. He stalked all of our choice, Lindros, who just came up empty, but he asserted himself into the stretch and nobody was close to him. It seems like everybody else ran their usual race and it wasn't close to good enough.
Well, the 3 and the 7 who were second and third, there were jockey objections with both those two in the end. It was disallowed, so the result stands. 5-3, 7-6 is how it finishes. First-time starter, son of Verrazano, with the win. It pays $15.80. String of favorites being beaten continues.
Yeah, I know last week, I think of all the tracks in the country, I think we had the lowest percentage of winning favorites. And, you know, I think if you look at the results, and yesterday we had some crazy results, it's not like they've been horses you couldn't have. They haven't been, you know, $50 horses for the most part. They've been middle prices, which normally works okay for me. Lately, I got put up, so I'm no complaints. I got put up.
Horace Grady, meanwhile, back at Oaklawn, gets the win here. The speedster with Joel Rosario went real fast early on and could not keep it up side town.
Good job by David Cohen, getting good position from the outside post and waiting patiently. I think both he and Francisco Arrieta on the 2 just sort of waited for the 4 to come back to the field. And when they did, they found themselves in the garden spot. $16 on Diodoro off the claim and a very healthy exacta if you wanted to play against the favorite.
And the mystery horse, the 11, Replete, completing that trifecta there as we get back to New York. 7th race, $40,000 claiming group. It is a 1-turn mile. And Mexican Wonder Boy, we saw him win on this program back on December the 11th. He'll be the one to beat here, looking to go back-to-back. Linda Rice claimed him out of that winning effort. There he is, 2-1 on the board. Jose Lezcano will ride him back for the Rice Barn. He's 7 for 15 lifetime. Stay with us.
Introducing a stallion, as top class as they come. In 22 career starts, he won or placed in 12 graded stakes, competing in 15 grade ones, earning over $1.7 million. His undisputed speed is evident.
We're back on America's Day at the Races program, brought to you where you can play all the racing we bring you. Naira Bets. Download the app. Go to nairabets.com. Get signed up. Get started. 7th race. Approaching the 11-minute mark to post. And the favorite, the 4 Mexican Wonder Boys. You take a look there at Michelle Nevin. Outstanding trainer here on this circuit. We'll send out Musical America from the rail. She has a pretty talented sprinter as well, son of Run Happy, who has reeled off 3 consecutive victories by a combined 21 1/4 lengths.
Right. I'm a big fan, and we certainly rooting for those Run Happies as well, and Michelle. But the water's going to get deeper. There are 3 Grade 1 sprints in New York: the Carter, the Vanderbilt, and the Forgo. I'm sure she'd love to win any of them, but it's not easy. There are not a lot of Grade 1s around, and the competition is going to get more serious. You have to imagine she's playing the Carter. Would she use the Tom Fool here to get there? Would she use the General George at Laurel? I would think, considering the situation in Maryland, probably more inclined to stay here at this point. So will we see her in the toboggan in February? Will she wait until March? But I imagine she is trying to get to that Carter at 7 furlongs, and if he can handle the step up in company, he's run races that put him in the mix.
2 of those last 3 wins, speed figures of 103 and 104 on the Bayer scale. Incredibly impressive. So looking forward to seeing that son of Run Happy when he does run back. 3 for 4 lifetime in his career. This is a look at the entry, though. Of course, as talked about, Michelle going to send out Musical America, the 2 from the rail. But Hieroglyphics and Mo Gotcha, I thought Mo Gotcha actually a little interesting at a big price in this race.
Well, they're
not a big price anymore.
They're not connections that I'm interested in betting on in here. They're highly low percentage connections. Didn't win a race in 2021. I didn't really like him. He clearly has dirt races that can make him competitive, but most of them were for other barns. You know, I can keep saying it. The sooner we get rid of entries, the better off we are. You never get value in entries. And in this case,
may happen, by the way, with that marriage rule.
Right. And I really hope so. I mean, Greg, I think you can make an argument. The whole basis of parimutuel wagering is it's not, you're pitting your money against others. You know, you, me, Jonathan, we're all putting our money in the pool, and we're betting against each other when we have different opinions. And that's the way it should be, right? When you have an entry, you might like the 1A, I might like the 1. We have opposite opinions, but we end up being partners in the bet, and that's not the way parimutuel wagering is supposed to work.
Oh, that marriage rule being looked at again, and that may wind up eliminating all entries in New York. We'll wait and see what happens. With more on this field coming up, let's go to Maggie.
Taking a look at that runner from the inside, that is number 2, Musical America, as he'll make his first start for trainer Michelle Nevin. Now, he was in the barn of Charlie Baker, who is a claiming trainer that I literally have the utmost respect for, as I do with Michelle. So it's pretty much a lateral type of move here, but we'll see. You know, he has one way to go with Kendrick Carmouche aboard, and that is go to the front end. And he's a horse that does his best running when up there. And I always thought that, you know, this 1 turn mile or even a 7/8 is actually best for him in comparison to anything more than that. So I really like what I'm seeing from him here. If anything, his coat actually looks a bit improved. Good energy from him. I like when he's forward and fairly engaged here in the paddock. So we'll see. He's going to have to deal with Mexican Wonder Boy, who once again looks great, and I think, as evident on paper, ran by far the best race of any of these coming out of that common race. As we'll check in with the 6, that is Hammer and Ammer, also out of the Mexican Wonder Boy race, picked up by Pat Reynolds. Now, he's a horse that won stakes early on in his career for Rudy Rodriguez, in which Gustavo Rodriguez was the assistant. Now, Gustavo, Rudy's brother, has gone out, and Gustavo picked this horse up for 10 going back to September. He knows this horse. He has the keys to this horse. And yes, he's coming back, you know, within a month. Okay, fine. But he was so confident. He walked into this paddock and all those efforts just like he was going to bowl over the rest of his competition. Today, heads on the ground, a lot more quiet. And 2, he's developed the neuromuscular condition string halt, which I noticed with him, but it's by far the most accentuated today, and it is more accentuated at a walk than at a trot, or even less so at a gallop. But like I said, it's so much more accentuated today than what I have seen in his recent past efforts. Moving on to number 8, 235. He can be a bit of a bad boy at times, and he ruins his races at the start. Last time he reared up, and going back to when he was a beaten favorite and claimed by Jeffrey Engelhardt, he reared up that day too. So if he can break, he's a player here, I think, and I wouldn't hold that last race against him, as he does get back to a fast track here. He's behaved himself saddling, which is always a good sign, I think, with his past behavior and tendencies in mind. So I think he is interesting here. Just watching how he behaves at the gate, I think we'll know how he's going to run as soon as they spring the latch, Greg.
Yeah, Maggie, thanks. I mean, his break ended his chances his last time out.
Especially when you consider that he was running on a track that was extremely biased towards speed. So not only got left, but took any chance he had to be in close-up. Now, the time before that was sort of a joke 4-horse field at Mahoning Valley, but his effort before that was good. And he makes sense considering there should be pace in here. Now, I ended up picking Mexican Wonder Boy. I was between the 4 and 8. I just flip-flopped them. I didn't think there would be that big a discrepancy between their prices. And Mexican Wonder Boy is ridiculously overbet right now at 6-5 because he's got a deal potential with Speed of Musical America, and also speed with a horse like Striking Speed on the outside. So I don't know if he has an easy time, but he ran very, very well last time. But that was for Danny Gargan, and he's a tough guy to claim from.
Now with Linda Rice, 6-5 favorite. Meanwhile, there is the 8-year-old, 235, who just has some really big efforts. He's been with Mike Maker. He's been with Robertino Diodoro. He was with Doug O'Neill, Peter Miller, some really good trainers. Now he's with Jeffrey Engelhardt, who has already won with him. You just look back at some of his efforts, and you know, some of those recent efforts would absolutely demolish this field.
I don't understand how he's 4-1 and the 4 is 6-5. To me, they're both supposed to be around 2-1 to 5-2. I don't understand the difference. I also was very interested to hear what Maggie had to say about Hammer and Hammer, because this is a horse who at one time was very good, but he had just completely fallen apart. Totally fallen apart. Claimed for $10,000. And Gustavo Rodriguez, who, since going on his own, he has had some big improvements, especially off the claim, but none more so than this one. And he completely turned his form around. Then he's claimed by Pat Reynolds, and now he's been off for over a month. So Pat's not running him back on Gustavo Rodriguez's training. And I don't mean that as a criticism of Pat in any way. I'm just saying it's, you know, and Pat's a good trainer, but this is a tough horse to claim, because you got a horse that not long ago would be 150-1 in a race like this. Will he continue that form? If he does, he's going to be tough.
8-year-old, can he keep that recent form? Yeah, with the new barn, we'll find out. He is 9-2 right now. Meanwhile, this horse from the outside, 9-1. That's Money Ride. Let's go to our money man for more. Jonathan.
Thank you, Wolfie. I think this horse is a little bit interesting. This horse seems to have kind of starting to trend back in the right direction from some numbers this horse used to run. If you look back in the past performances, this horse has run at Aqueduct 9 times, has won 4 times. So, you know, you'd like to think that this horse can handle winter racing. But also, I thought the horse ran well last time, considering the fact that you don't typically, now racetracks can change, but historically and typically you do not want to be stuck down on the inside at Laurel. Not the place to be. This horse was down there getting pressure from the outside, now gets drawn towards the outside, has some tactical speed. I'm just hopeful, especially at 9-1, this horse can kind of run back to some of those previous Aqueduct races back in 2020, earlier in his career.
Well, he's 9-1. JK, thanks. Trevor McCarthy will be aboard. He's looking for his second win on the afternoon as we hear the call to post behind us. Going to get to our post parade here coming up. That's your favorite right now. There's the 4, Mexican Wonder Boy, trying to put together back-to-back wins and win for the 3rd time in his last 4 starts, but trying to do it for the 3rd different barn in that time. Here's part of the entry, and this is Hieroglyphics. It's been really a turf horse in his career.
Right. His one dirt race was a complete non-effort. He's an unlikely competitor.
His entry mate, though, the last time he was in at this level, he missed by a nose.
Yeah, but this is a horse whose form seems to be really falling apart for the new barn, but he does get some class relief. I don't like him, but I could see some people might.
Musical America for Michelle Nevin just claimed went by, and here's the favorite.
Yeah, Michelle Nevin does not have great numbers off the claim. I'm hoping Mexican Wonder Boy can shake free. If he can, he can win, but at 6-5, I would never bet a nickel on him.
Hammer and Hammer, the 8-year-old now, as mentioned, with Pat Reynolds.
That's the question. You know, what do you think the chances are that he can keep his good form? If he does, he's an overlay at 9-2. If he doesn't, he's an underlay.
6 days ago, Striking Speed just won. He was claimed out of that race.
This is a world of difference. This is like going from a maiden race to a stakes race compared to who he was facing last week.
235, that price slowly coming down.
Well, he's supposed to be a very similar price to the number 4. They're kind of a coin flip at best to me.
And money right outside, Trevor McCarthy for Claudio Gonzalez.
Well, I respect Jonathan. I hope I'm wrong and he's competitive. I didn't see it, but out of respect to Jonathan, I wouldn't throw him out.
Well, let's take a look at the favorite. Back in the most recent win, it was a sloppy racetrack, December the 11th, here at Aqueduct. And he would get the win over Hammer and Hammer and Lobster.
But they were...
Sorry, Lost in Rome, who would have been one of the major players.
Lobster probably would have been favored. They might have been in pretty good form.
I was thinking Rock Lobster from earlier today.
I was thinking the song Rock Lobster. This was not a race the pace held together. This was a very fair racetrack. And the horses behind him were all making up ground. The race was falling apart. And I like horses that sort of run contra to how the race was run, because other than him, all the other speeds fell apart. On the other hand, Danny Gargan's a tough guy to claim from. He's a high percentage trainer, does very well, and the numbers off him are not great. Still, his last race did impress me. I think I can't bet on the 6 in here because I can't trust him to keep the form. So for me, I have trouble making cases for anybody but the 4 and 8. More process elimination. Can he run back to his last race on a fast track? Well, he's run well on fast tracks before.
Well, he stalked early before eventually getting to the front last time out, Mexican Wonder Boy. Musical America looks like he's going to provide a lot of pressure from the inside. Let's head downstairs to Maggie.
See? Guys happy up there? Yeah. And my eyelashes are shaking. My eyes are watering. So that's why we have these abbreviated post parades. As soon as I get off camera, I'm going to step down out of this wind tunnel. But taking a look at number 9 in here, Money Ride, as JK was talking about, I agree. It is tough to win down on the rail at Laurel. But how's he going to get the lead here? I mean, isn't the argument that he's also a better horse when he is forward? Now, he does have the advantageous outside post. I like what I'm seeing from him. This is a horse, too, though, that going back to when he was running around here in late 2020, early 2021, I like, too. He's a good mover. I've seen a really nice warm-up from Trevor McCarthy aboard. I just don't know how dynamically he can win here. And, yes, maybe he is running some faster figures again with getting more ground. His faster races have come when going a bit longer, as we do see an aggressive warm-up there by Trevor McCarthy. As the horse that honestly looked best is the first off the claim from Michelle Nevin, number 2 in here, Musical America. But same sentiment, I don't know how he wins. I loved everything I saw from him. He looks honestly improved, and I can't believe I'm saying that from a Charlie Baker horse, but former Charlie Baker horse. But just sometimes in a new barn, they wake up. And that's kind of what we saw with him when he moved into Charlie's barn, too. It did take him a few races to get that way. But again, how much speed are we going to see here? And does it fall into the lap of one that's going to come from off of it, Greg?
More importantly, get Maggie some goggles to protect those eyelashes going forward.
I tell you, when your eyelashes start acting up, then it's really
It is windy
tough
out there. She is braving the elements for us.
She's braver than we are.
We're too warm in here.
We'd like to give her some of that warmth. We'll send her the warmth from our hearts.
The wind is whipping here in South Ozone Park. 9-5 favorite. It is Mexican Wonder Boy, the 4, trying to win back-to-back starts, trying to win for a new barn here for Linda Rice. Let's go to John Embrial for the call.
They're all in. And they're off. Money Ride out for the lead, 235 away well. Now Striking Speed moves up. And towards the inside, it is Mo Gotcha down at the rail, Musical America. So now it's 4 of them across the track. Money Ride's on the extreme outside. Striking Speed is there, along with Mo Gotcha and Musical America. Just behind, Mexican Wonder Boy runs in 5th. And then it's 235, who is now back in 6th, followed by Hammer and Ammer in 7th, and Hieroglyphics, the early trailer, in 8th. The quarter went in 24 seconds. A crush of horses up front. There's 5 of them now stacked across the track. Musical America is coming through down at the rail, and Money Ride is there. And on the outside, it is Mexican Wonder Boy. Then comes Striking Speed, followed by Mo Gotcha. 235 now makes a move on the outside. That move is followed by Hammer and Ammer. Hieroglyphics is the trailer. The half went in 48 and 3/5 seconds. Money Ride is on the inside. Mexican Wonder Boy's on the outside. Mexican Wonder Boy with a head in front. Money Ride down at the rail in second. 235 is in third. Then Hammer and Ammer in fourth. Followed next by Musical America and Striking Speed. They are at the top of the stretch. 3/4, 1:15. It is Mexican Wonder Boy, and on the outside, 235, Money Ride down at the rail. Hammer and Ammer is coming on now as they hit the furlong marker. It is 235 and Hammer and Ammer, 235, Hammer and Ammer. They are right together coming on for the finish. Hammer and Ammer on the outside has the lead. Hammer and Ammer is the winner. 235 was second, then Mexican Wonder Boy and Money Ride.
Hammer and Ammer off the claim, the win, despite things being made a little more difficult with a horse to his inside.
And a tip of the cap to Pat Reynolds, who got this horse to run as well as he had been running for his prior connections. Yes, this race fell apart a little bit, and I think the Mexican Wonder Boy ran okay, given how the race collapsed. But I think considering the 4, 6, and 8 were kind of the only 3 that made much sense on paper, maybe it didn't fall apart as much as the others just weren't good enough. At the end of the day, good trip for 235, who really was an overlay at 7-2. But look at all the late money came for Hammer and Ammer. So the money said they expected him to show up today, and show up he did.
8-year-old wins for the 11th time in his career and to his inside. That's 235, who was floating out, making life more difficult on him. He's still able to cross the wire first despite that. Take a look at the head on here. And keep your eyes on that yellow cap. That's 235. And a left-handed stick as well, floating out.
Yeah, I mean, I think the good news about the 6 winning, besides back if you had bet him, is that we don't have to sit through another inquiry.
Good point. Thank you to Dylan Davis. Thank you to Hammer and Ammer.
Yes,
6,
exactly.
8, 4, 9. We're going to move along quickly because of that result. 11th win in 50 career starts for this 8-year-old who's been in quite a few barns. We go back to Oaklawn right now, the 5th race next. 2-turn mile, $10,000 maiden claiming event. As we get a look at the 2 Nugget of Grace rider change on this 2. Ken Tohill will be aboard for Kenny Smith.
Doesn't appear to be able to handle the dirt.
No. Or the turf, for that matter.
I like a horse in this race, by the way, Greg.
Which is?
The number 8. It was badly interfered with last time. Betting on Rousing Siren.
6-1.
Yes.
Second off the claim. Slight drop from 20 to 10.
Yep. I like his chances. I thought, the sloppy track, I thought he ran okay. He was completely, the horse that David Cohen was riding, who's the 11, Falcon Heavy, just really got in his way and just completely shut him off around the turn. Just lost all chance. I thought his race 3 back would win this race, and that was off the claim. I'm betting on him.
Well, speaking of Falcon Heavy, the 11, that's, again, Diodoro with David Cohen. He's 4-1. Let's go to Jonathan for more.
Yeah, Diodoro, David Cohen, an outside draw. Did us well in the last race. It's a situation where you caught it, Diodoro claims the horse from Ian Wilkes. And Ian Wilkes is the type of trainer that I think that there's a pot, and this is nothing against Ian as a trainer, but I think you can move up horses off Ian because he is conservative. He takes his time with horses. He allows them to develop. So I think there is an opportunity at times to move one up off of Ian. Now, look, I don't think you're going to take a Fort Larned and he's going to run better for someone else than he would for Ian. But I think with some of these types of horses, you can see that. Falcon Heavy caught a sloppy racetrack first time for Diodoro. So that can be a built-in excuse already. Like we've talked about before, I like the outside draw. The other issue is that Falcon Heavy has not typically broken well. And I think sometimes when switching to new barns, one of the things that can help with that is getting them a little stronger in behind, changing some of the ways that you train, and hopefully Falcon Heavy can break away from there cleaner. So from that outside draw, it'll be very easy to tell. He'll be the horse to the far outside. If he breaks well, I think he'll be in contention to win this race. If he doesn't break well, then he'll probably get beat by 17, 26, or 7 or 16 lengths like he has in his 4 career starts.
Loading up. Thank you, JK. Favorite remains at 3. Mo Heat. Paul Holthus. Let's go to Vic Stauffer for the 5th from Oaklawn.
Unembellished. Guardsman Pass. Last to load, Falcon Heavy. They're at the post. They're off. Warning label and Unembellished show the most speed. Hard scent on the outside, though, is Lux Big Boy. And Lux Big Boy wants the front, and he's got it. He crosses in front of Unembellished and Warning label. Then comes Mo Heat, followed by Mountain Time, Rousing Siren, and a Falcon Heavy. Slightly Crafty is next. Then comes Nugget of Grace, and at the back of the pack are Pure Iron and Guardsman Pass. Good solid pace set by Lux Big Boy to the backstretch. He's a 2-length leader over Unembellished in second. Then it's a length and a half to Mo Heat, Falcon Heavy between horses and to the outside and Warning label. Then it's 2 lengths further back to Rousing Siren and Mountain Time. They've got about 5 lengths to make up, 2.5 in front of Slightly Crafty and Nugget of Grace. Still at the back of the pack are Guardsman Pass and Pure Iron. Half-mile pole. Finish line is the 16th pole, and Lux Big Boy trying to get there first. Lux Big Boy, a 2-length lead over Unembellished in second. Here's Unembellished now to draw within a neck of the lead. Could have a new leader around the far turn. Unembellished makes his move, and we do have a new leader. Unembellished to the quarter pole with a length in front. Lux Big Boy is second, 2.5 lengths now to Mo Heat in third. Then comes Mountain Time, Falcon Heavy, and Unembellished is far in front, turning for home. It is Unembellished with a 6-length advantage. Mo Heat's going to try to move into second outside of Mountain Time and Rousing Siren, and it's a good race for second, but there's no race for the win. Unembellished is far in front. Make it 10 lengths. Rousing Mountain Time second, Unembellished. Unembellished won by about 9. Mountain Time was second, close for third between Mo Heat and Rousing Siren.
Unembellished, first time on a faster track since his debut at Keeneland back in April of last year. Dominant.
He lost that one by 37 lengths. I think he won this one by 37 lengths. Not a horse I could have had, who did have good form, you know, a little bit on the synthetic and turf, but hard to trust him on the dirt. But boy, this son of Street Boss, unlike a lot of Street Boss, not a sprinter. This horse ran, huh? Wow.
Big wake up, no question. At 7-1 today.
Well, he got bet a little too, huh? I guess he was dropping, to be fair.
Yeah, ran for 20 maiden claiming last time out. Used to be in the Jack Sisterson barn, now with Federico Villafranco. And 9th time out, gets the victory. It's been all about that young man in Hot Springs. He's won 9 of the last 10 riding titles in Hot Springs. Ricardo Santana Jr. put himself right back in the mix for another this season. We're going to see a lot more of him coming up when we return on America's Day at the Races.
Precocity.
Strategic speed. Some speed at 2, but can carry it on through their later careers.
Improbable, full of run.
Improbable, now a Grade 1 winner. It is a complete runaway, an authoritative run. It's Improbable to win the Whitney.
You don't have to be a multi-millionaire to get into this game. You can have a few $1,000s and have fun with it. But with the bonds, you're actually going to win. I've had the opportunity to win multiple races. In fact, this year won 2 times in one day, which is almost unheard of to be able to do. This is going to happen with them. You will get into the winner's circle in Saratoga. You will walk that horse in, and you will stand there, look at the crowd, and the bonds will take you there and get you into that winner's circle. And it won't cost you a lot of money.
Smile Happy was a TDN rising star following his maiden win at Keeneland. From there, he captured the Grade 2 Kentucky Jockey Club Stakes to remain undefeated and earning points toward the Kentucky Derby. In Future Pool 1, Smile Happy was individual leader by lowest odds. Among the top of his crop by stakes winners and earnings, Run Happy continues his rise and is priced for success. Call today and book your mare to Red Hot Sire Run Happy, standing in legendary Stall 1 at Claiborne Farm.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
Back on America's Day at the Races, our program brought to you in part by the one-of-a-kind sprinter Run Happy, the champion, now standing in legendary stall number 1 at Claiborne. The 8-year-old Hammerin Amr, who was no match for Mexican Wonder Boy last time out, turns the tables on him today.
Yeah. I mean, this horse really ran well, and he's just improved. And I give a lot of credit to Pat Reynolds, because it's very tough to claim from horses that were sort of going nowhere for trainers who were getting them to turn around. A lot of times they turn back into a pumpkin. And, you know, Pat, by claiming this horse, you sort of risk looking really bad. And when the horse runs badly, people say, well, why did you claim this horse? You know, the horse was running for 10,000. He had this miraculous turnaround. You're asking for trouble. Well, he claimed him, he moved him up, and he won.
Getting by 235 for the win, despite that horse forcing him out even wider. So this win may be a little even more impressive than it looked. Mexican Wonder Boy checks in third, 6-8-4 finish. And our feature race coming up next. Dylan Davis, Pat Reynolds off the claim. Greg O'Donnell, your winning connections there in that 7th race. Let's get back to Oaklawn. Unembellished monster effort, dropping to the lowest level that he had ever run at yet. 4-year-old son of Street Boss wins in his 9th career start.
I mean, he put this field away around the turn, just absolutely crushed them.
$17.60 for the win. Owned by Danny Caldwell. We've talked a lot about him on our program over the last few years. Federico Villafranco. And Christian Torres aboard for the win. Back to New York. Feature race is next. It's a 1-turn mile, New York bred allowance optional claiming field. Talked about the show at the top of our program, and we mentioned Yankee Division. He is the one to beat right now. He's going to have the outside post, looking to win back-to-back starts for Rudy Rodriguez.
And we still have not seen a favorite win. The last race 2-1, but the favorite was the 4 at 9-5. And Yankee Division could have to show he can rate. He's the one they're betting in the entry. 7 Lily's been unlucky when you lost to him last time. I think he turns the tables today.
All right, now 7 Lily's. He is a nice price. There he is at 7-2 on the board. That price should come down a little. 7-year-old son of Rattlesnake Bridge, looking for the 9th win of his career and some revenge against Yankee Division.
This proven son of Giants Causeway has sired 7 millionaires. With over 10% stakes performers, his recent top runners include Tarabi, placed in the Grade 1 Spinaway and Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, Grade 2 winner Plum Ali, multi-millionaire Shivaji, plus these standout performers. Now his biggest book in the past decade will be 3-year-olds in 2022. A proven value sire, First Samurai, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Welcome to Mahoney Manor Farm
We are New York Thoroughbred breeders.
in Saratoga Springs, New York. I'm Britt Wadsworth and this is Sean Mahoney. We're just very small, 14 acres, pull out about a dozen mares a year. We hope to breed some really nice New York breds that we can either race or sell.
We've been really lucky, you know, we really work hard at it. We like our size, we like to be hands-on. It's really nice. It's taken a long time to really be known for our homebreds and for having to be well handled, you know. We really spent a lot of time and emphasis on that.
We've watched the New York program just gain year after year and have become one of the premier breeding programs in the country.
There's really no better place to be right now. It's just a very, very strong program in every aspect. We will bring up very, very high-grade mares just to make them New York breds because now in this day and age and in the sales environment, it adds value to them. So this is our main barn. It's a 10-stall barn with a wash rack and a tack room that's really done well for us, and it stays pretty warm. We generally full around a dozen, give or take a year.
It never ceases to amaze me, people's wonderment in mares and foals.
I measure success in a lot of different ways.
Getting that first Breeders' Award.
Getting our first Breeders' Awards was nice. It's a long wait. You know, foaling out other people's horses that go on to do incredible at the sales or incredible at the yearling or two-year-old sales.
We're very proud of anything that is foaled here because they're all like our family.
For more information on the New York Thoroughbred Breeding and Development Fund, you can go to nybreds.com.
Nice to see our friend Sean and Britt making an appearance. See how nice it looked? I was in Saratoga for a few days this week. It's a lot colder than it is during racing season.
It was below zero earlier this week, wasn't it?
It was. Mom and I did not leave the house on Tuesday.
There's Water's Edge. I mean, this horse has been impressive from the moment he debuted. When he debuted, he was only beat a neck to, we didn't know it at the time, eventual Grade 1 winner, American Revolution, winner of the Cigar Mile.
It is amazing when you think about it. In less than 6 months, he went from a maiden who'd run once to a Grade 1 winner. He has, but the problem is he ran a fast figure in his second race, but otherwise, basically from a buyer standpoint, it's unusual. He's running 278s and 279s. He's just sort of plateaued. And it's not that he's run badly, and maybe he was compromised a little when he didn't break two back, but I don't know. You know, he beats horses like Scotto. He may end up being the speed of the speed here, but it's hard to see this pace not being quick. It's hard to see Charlie McCarthy not being aggressive with Yankee Division. And I just don't see a scenario where he's good enough to beat these without moving forward.
More importantly, is that not a Jets cap on David Donk? That would be a first.
Is football season over?
In the history of our program.
You know, maybe I saw it. I had a nice chat
when their
with
season's
David.
over, does he put it away?
I don't know. We'll have to find out. I saw him. I had a nice chat with David yesterday.
That's the interview
Get Maggie to get the info.
From Maggie Wolfendale. Let's head downstairs for the scoop.
The scoop? It's cold. You don't want to be wearing just a baseball cap. I really wish I had Dave's Wanamaker's beanie on. Wanamaker's, also owned by our very own Liza Hendricks. But yeah, we'll see. I don't think there's any him leaving his beloved Jets. I think he's just trying to stay warm, as looks as though he's kept Water's Edge very warm throughout the winter, because this horse looks like it's the middle of summer, to be honest. He looks so good here in the paddock. I know he did not beat much, and these waters get so much deeper with these tried, true, gritty veterans that we have assembled here in the paddock. But physically, let me tell you, he matches up with them, if not above them. He looked so good, and if anything, second off the bench, he's more defined. He's so confident here in the paddock. And I was talking to Dave, and he said, you know, I'm not really sure where I should sit, but he is drawn towards the outside. There's other speed in here. And he said, I don't have to be on the lead, but I would like to be forwardly placed. And we'll see what plays out here. But like I said, I don't love what I see on form. And I agree with Andy that you can't necessarily be in love with his chances based upon his buyer figures and the race he comes out of. I really like what I'm seeing from him here in the paddock. As we'll move on to number 7 Lilies in here, whom it just looks as though Rob Atras has his horse just going very well. But I will say, He did run really well, stretching back out in distance, and sometimes you catch a horse a little bit off guard in doing that, and they will run their best efforts, but he does have those go-back route races to lean on. So I love him in his appearance here once again. He looks second best from the physical sense of things to Water's Edge, so just a very confident horse. I thought last time he sat a very good trip, tried to go up the rail, had to switch out and steady slightly behind Yankee Division, and was really running him down late. So we'll see what he does here back at the mile once again, Greg.
Maggie, thanks. We will see. He is 0 for 9 at a mile, but you look at that last start at that mile distance, and it was one of the best races, if not the best, he may have run in his whole career.
It may be his best race ever. I do agree, though, the mile thing, you know, he ran well enough last time. You don't want to get caught up in the mile. But I am glad you brought it up because, you know, closing sprinters, people sometimes think, well, they're closers. The longer they go, the better they'll be. No. And he's got a closing sprinter kick, and you don't know for sure if he's a miler. And I'll tell you something. If they're not aggressive with the 8 and Yankee Division finds himself in front, he's probably going to win this race. And if he loses, it'll be the 7 Lilies. I don't think coming up with the 2 favorites is doing anyone favors. My long shot to get in there is the 5 Vintage Hollywood. I didn't think his last race was that bad. He's got races that give him a chance. Should he really be 25 to 1, 18 to 1 in here?
He was behind horse who just won the last race, Hammer and Armor and Mexican Wonder Boy, when they faced off December 11th. That's a huge price on him.
Right? I'm not saying you like him to win, but I don't think he should be 20 to 1 in here.
Well, this is the one everyone's got to try and beat who just left our screen, that 2B, as you look at Kendrick Carmouche. There's Yankee Division. He'll have the outside post. He's quick, probably going to be in front. He's a 4-time winner on this track, and he finally refound his form after, look, 2 of those 3 bad races, he was just running way above his head.
I agree. Now, he is best on the front end, but he has won races rating. And I think that's important because if Water's Edge and Jorge Vargas are aggressive, and he's probably a faster horse, the Yankee Division is going to be forced to sit outside of him. It benefits him, although he draws outside of him, so he's in a comfortable spot. But, you know, thinking it's going to be tough to make the lead, you have to have some reservations, and that plays into the hands of the plain 1, 7 Lilies. The faster the pace, the better off he is.
There is David Donk, trainer of Water's Edge, who, you know, we thought early on when we saw this first couple of starts, horse New York bred who had a ton of promise. But, you know, as you said, he ran that monster Beyer speed figure the second start of his career. And he beat another nice horse, Gold Panda, for Charlie Baker.
And King Angelo.
He's never come back too close to running that number again.
That's the problem. And he's had 3 chances. I mean, the Cerro Power race, okay, the pace got contested. So what? The next time out, he broke the gate. He didn't really run off, and we see horses break the gate and run fine. And last time out, he's beating Scotto and Run for Boston. They beat 50 to 1 in this field. That's not to say that he can't improve. It's not as though he's run 20 races. But the fact that he's been so consistent at that Beyer level doesn't give me a lot of confidence that he's going to move forward. You know, maybe I'm curious if Jonathan has a different opinion than we do here. I mean, I hate to just land on the 2 favorites, but I wasn't clever with them. My only long shot to get a piece is the 5.
Riders up, as you see, a horse taking a ton of money, by the way, is the 7 No Salt. I don't believe we're going to show you that race, but if you have the opportunity to go back and look at that last start, a win. He dropped back to last. He was 13th of 13th in that field and somehow got up to win despite being about 7 wide in that race.
Well, he made some run in there, but he also got a very quick pace.
Here's 7 Lilies. Some might feel he's the horse to beat in here.
I can see that argument because you have to feel the pace could be aggressive. And the other thing is he's not that slow, so if the pace doesn't heat up, he can put himself in position.
Well, you get Yankee Division. You also get Bad Guy with the entry of the 2.
Yeah, the problem is that Bad Guy is probably not good enough.
Here's the half their bet in Yankee Division outside post Trevor McCarthy.
Makes a lot of sense, and he's run a lot of Beyer speed figures in the 90s, and that's something you don't see from other horses.
Anything possible went by, and there's Prince of Pharaohs, who was chasing Yankee Division last start.
Yeah, the Sun American Pharaoh is consistent and okay. He just consistently not quite as good as the best horses in here.
Vintage Hollywood, you give a look?
I do, especially at that price. I think he's usable, at least if you're betting tries or supers, to get him into the 3rd or 4th slot.
7-year-old looking for the 7th win of his career. Here's the horse who came from another zip code to get up and win last time out, No Salt.
Yeah, he did it with a fast pace, and it still isn't fast enough to compete here. I thought he was overbet at 9 to 2.
Water's Edge, 6 to 1 for David Donk, Jorge Vargas Jr. aboard.
If I'm wrong, I'll be happy that David Donk gets the money. I just don't know if he's good enough.
4-year-old debut coming up for that horse. As we're 2 minutes to post here in this 8th at Aqueduct, and the favorite, the Yankee division, 8-5 on the board from that outside post. We're going to show you that race from back on December the 17th. 94 Buyer speed figure in the victory, and of course 7 Lilies second, and here in a distant third, Prince of Pharaohs.
Now, keep your eye on 7 Lilies, the gray. This is great race riding by Trevor McCarthy. He knows 7 Lilies is coming inside. He says, okay, you want to come inside? I'm going to drift down a little bit and make it a little tight, tough to come through. Didn't do anything wrong. Great race riding. 7 Lilies has to alter course and go around him, and doing so, he hung a little bit at the end. To be honest with you, he did have a chance to get by, but had he been able to keep a straight course the whole way, he might have won. But doesn't it feel like he hung a little bit watching it? A little bit?
I was going to say no.
No?
I
Okay.
actually like that he came on again.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to argue with somebody that says that he should have won the race. If you bet him, you have every right to be frustrated, especially at 5-1. And let's be honest, he ran the best Buyer speed figure he's ever run, and that has to be a good sign. Rob Atras has improved him since he claimed him.
Well, Dylan Davis will be back on board this afternoon, trying to turn the tables on that one right there. And Trevor McCarthy back aboard for Rudy Rodriguez on the 9-5 favorite.
Yeah, and he draws that comfortable, perfect outside position. So if Water's Edge is aggressive, he stalks. If he's not, Trevor's not going to let him take anything away from him, and he'll go.
Can Prince of Pharaohs with Kendrick maybe apply some pressure? Let's talk to Jonathan. We'll address that in a minute. JK.
Yeah, guys. Look, I understand the 7 Lilies, the 2B, all of that makes sense to me. But I just can't forget how the path at Water's Edge was once on. He was running numbers on a debut and in a second start were similar to what you've seen from some of these more established types. And he's kind of had some ups and downs, maybe some shorter distances that didn't work so well from him, then coming in off a layoff. I just think that there's a lot more upside with him. I love where he's drawn, and I just think that he is a talented racehorse, and I'm just hopeful that it can all kind of come together. And I love what Maggie said about how he looks. He looks like it's the middle of summer, and it's not, obviously. If you go outside, you'll be aware of that. And I'm sure Maggie will let us know how cold it is right now. And I'm not making fun, Mag. I'm very sorry that you're feeling that way.
I wish I had your puffer vest on. I mean, I'm thoroughly underdressed today and really wishing I had my big furry hat as well. But Prince of Pharaohs, I agree with you, JK. I'm on Water's Edge too. But Prince of Pharaohs really, got the patented Kendrick Carmouche warm up, really big gallop. And I think they're aggressive with this horse. I've never been as big a fan. I think he gets great trips often, and like last time, and just didn't really deliver behind Yankee Division and 7 Lilies, as we'll also check in with Yankee Division. I don't know, form reversal last time. He does look as though physically he backs that up, that last race, because he was kind of getting light, losing some conditioning at times, and it's back on. He looks great. So we'll see what Yankee Division does, having to deal with some other speed from his inside.
He's become the favorite right now. Thank you, Maggie. 7 Lilies down on the inside is now the 8-5 favorite.
Could he be the first favorite to win today's card? Or could we have no favorites winning? Got a wide open last, too.
Is research working on that, by the way? Last time, no favorites won on a card in New York?
We have a team of researchers
I thought
looking
so.
through. Turns out
the
it was
rematch
a week ago.
of the top 3 finishers from December 17th. Yankee Division looking to do it again. The 2B from the outside. He is no longer favored, though. Horse who ran behind him after he took away that ground from him. 7 Lilies trying to turn the tables. Let's go upstairs. John Imbrial with the call.
Who will complete the field, and they are all set. And they're off. Yankee Division broke well. Water's Edge is there. Now moving up is Prince of Pharaohs. Yankee Division, Prince of Pharaohs. Those two are together. No Salt is in between horses. Water's Edge on the outside. Then Vintage Hollywood, followed by Anything Possible in 6th. 7 Lilies, the gray, is down at the rail. And on the outside is a Bad Guy. And the field has crossed over from the chute to the main track now. And it is a Yankee Division challenged here by No Salt. No Salt, and Yankee Division through a quarter in 25-2. Water's Edge on the outside runs in third. Prince of Pharaohs is down at the rail next in fourth. Then it's a break of 2 to Bad Guy, who is moving up on the extreme outside. Vintage Hollywood is in between horses. Anything Possible down at the rail, and Seven Lilies is at the back. Yankee Division has a narrow lead here over Water's Edge, the half in 49-4. And now they start the run into the far turn. It is Yankee Division and Water's Edge. The two of them are heads apart. No Salt is in behind, racing in third. Bad Guy is in fourth, but still 5 lengths from the lead. Seven Lilies has now moved up into fifth. It is Yankee Division taking the field to the top of the stretch. Water's Edge and No Salt second and third as they head for home now. It is Yankee Division with the lead. No Salt looking to come through down towards the rail. On the outside is Water's Edge, then Seven Lilies and Bad Guy. Yankee Division hanging tough and holding on to the lead. No Salt closest to the rail. Yankee Division, No Salt, then Water's Edge and Seven Lilies. They come on for the finish, and Yankee Division does it, 3/4 of a length. Water's Edge got up for second, and it's a photo for third.
Pace early, some unexpected visitors up front, namely No Salt. Yankee Division able to gut this one out late.
And I'll give credit to Jose Lascano with No Salt because the pace was clearly very moderate. But Yankee Division, and just, you know, we talked about it before with the outside post. When Water's Edge wasn't that aggressive out of the gate, Trevor McCarthy said, okay, I'm happy to take the lead in here. He was able to control up front. Water's Edge ran very well in here to be second. He outran his odds. Maggie and Jonathan were right about him. He actually, you know, for a 5-to-1 shot, he ran well. But Yankee Division, who ended up being a very generous 2-to-1, he keeps those favorites from winning. And I will say, while Seven Lilies didn't run his race, I think considering the dynamics of this race, nobody really made up any ground. He probably ran a little better than it looks.
2B871. Second win on the card today for Trevor McCarthy, Rudy Rodriguez, and back-to-back wins for the 6-year-old by Midnight Lute. Yankee Division. Water's Edge. Ran a good race.
I agree. I think he ran very well. He definitely ran improved effort. They were right on with him.
All right, well, these prices coming up for you. We head back to Oaklawn, late pick 4. Coming up in this 6th race, 2-turn mile ahead, allowance optional claiming group. Let's head to Gary Stevens for more.
Yeah, guys, let's talk about the 5-horse in here. Wicked Genius, trained by Kenny McPeak. Kenny started 10 horses here at the meet, having good success, 2 winners. But he's hit the board, run 1, 2, 3 with 7 of those 10 runners. Wicked Genius, he broke his maiden in a $150,000 maiden claimer at Churchill Downs. He was jumped up in class in the same condition here at Oaklawn Park, finishing a very good second. But listen, Chasing Time getting all the action right now for Steve Asmussen and Joel Rosario at 3-5 right now. I think that's a little bit of a stretch right now, but Wicked Genius, Kenny McPeak, going to try and upset your favorite. Changing Time at 3-5, guys.
All right, Gary, that is a short number. This Asmussen runner from my racehorse stable, Chasing Time, the 4.
It's just hard to make a strong case against him, though. It just seems like he's just faster than these horses. I mean, I don't know. What about the 3 getting back to the dirt? Just better than these?
Well, let's go. This is 2 back, and this was a maiden win for Chasing Time. This was at 7/8 of a mile at Churchill. He was the favorite.
I think he's not what we call an omni-fig, because the 5 actually ran a faster fig, but he consistently runs buyer figures that are in the mid-70s and are just better than most of these horses. He figures to be the speed. You know, Joel's going to be aggressive with him, and I just think he's way the horse to beat. I'm going to bet a 4th. I mean, the 4, 5, and 6 are the 3 horses. The 4 and 5, excuse me. The 3 is a bit of a wise guy getting back to the dirt. I just don't know if he's good enough.
Minute to post coming up. Let's go to Jonathan.
Yeah, and look, we've talked about this on the show before, and it's not a knock on My Racehorse or West Point or other big syndicates, but what happens at times is that because people are owning parts of this horse in micro shares with the 4 Chasing Time, they have some ownership. They feel like, oh, my horse is running, I'm going to bet 5, 10, 20, $100. And I think sometimes in the win pool, the price can be a little bit shorter than what the horse is likely to be in other pools, like the Exacta, the Trifecta, multi-race bets. With that said, I completely agree with Andy. when I see Chasing Time and I see my racehorse and I know that they're going to be betting this horse, I'm looking for other options. I just struggle to find them because Chasing Time has 2 or 3 races in his career that are faster than anything anyone else in this race has ever run, and that's problematic when you're trying to beat the 4 Chasing Time. I would go with the 5 Wicked Genius if I was going to try to do that. This horse does have comparable numbers, and I like the fact that he's drawn outside of Chasing Time. It's just a comfort zone for me as a horse player. If I'm close on 2 horses, if I can have the horse that's drawn outside, I typically feel better. I feel like there's more options from out there. I wouldn't be cutting in line to take 4-1 on the 5 to beat the favorite, but if you're like me and you feel like you got to play this race for whatever reason, I think the value in between the 2 horses lie with the 5.
Jonathan, you don't have to cut in line. You can play from your phone.
Yeah, I'm going to. Well, maybe there's a line for his phone.
There could be. I want to look at that horse on your screen right now. Vodka and Water is still a maiden running against this group. He's had 4 seconds in 7 starts. Look, he's been in stakes company before he's stakes placed. Graded stakes placed. He's going to be in front, isn't he?
Well, depends how aggressive Joel is. The 4's got some speed, but it's close. The concern with him is, the trainer changed from Steve Asmussen, right?
No question. Now with Chelsea Moisey, 8-1 on a horse who could be in front, but he's yet to win.
Okay, here's my play. Didn't bet a lot. I bet a little bit. I bet most of the 3, mostly the 4, mostly a 4-3 exacta, small reverse, used a little 5-3, and bet tries, trying to get the 3 third behind the 4 and 5. So I've got 4-5 with 4-5 with 3, and then I've got a press with a 4-5-3. I'm trying to get the 3 in there. That's my plan.
25-1. This whole horse was 6-1 morning line. Horse has only been on dirt once. And he showed some ability in that dirt debut.
He didn't run that badly. It was his debut. He lost by 3 lengths. Cavad isn't a bad horse, though he's improved off the claim. I think he ran back actually in the Sparty Jones the other day. And, maybe he's improved a little bit. Who's to say that he's necessarily a synthetic horse? Maybe actually he'll be okay in the dirt. I just feel like at 26-1, he's not the worst chance.
Meanwhile, all that money remaining on Chasing Time. 4 horse with who knows how many owners. My racehorse stable runner, 3-year-old son, and not this time. And, his first time in against winners, he caught a muddy track. Distant second. And it looks like he holds the cards here.
Yeah, but, we were talking about my racehorse factor. We saw an entry of theirs.
Overbet.
It was just way overbet. I mean, we appreciate that people support their horses, but it's making horses overbet.
And in a big way here. Certainly could win, but this is a short number on him. 6th from Oaklawn. It starts this late pick 4 on their Friday card. Let's go to Vic Stauffer.
Last to load, Bitcoin Banker. They're at the post. They're off. Chasing Time wins the break to the front from Vodka and Water in second. Fort Defiance is asked for speed. Then comes Immoro, followed by Charter Oak. Bitcoin Banker will be wide. Elusive Target and Wicked Genius are next, and the early trailer is Speak Unity. It's Chasing Time to the backstretch. A 3/4 length lead over Fort Defiance in second. Vodka and Waters tucked in the rail third and less than 2 from the front. Here's an early and fast move from the back of the pack, and Speak Unity is going to sprint to take over the lead. Speak Unity has moved up to take the front from Chasing Time, who will let him go. Then Fort Defiance and to the outside and a Bitcoin Banker. Next, it's Vodka and Water. 5th at the rail now and about 4 from the front with Immoral between horses. A length and a half back to Wicked Genius and Charter Oak. And Elusive Target is the trailer. Half-mile pole. Finish line is the 16th pole. And Speak Unity is trying to get there first. Speak Unity, a length 1.25 in front of Chasing Time and Vodka and Water, who moves through at the rail. And Speak Unity has been passed. Chasing Time and Vodka and Water are 1-2. Then it's 2.5 back to Wicked Genius. At the rail, Charter Oak and Immoral. Fort Defiance is gone, and Chasing Time is getting away at the top of the stretch. It is Chasing Time, now a 2-length lead on Vodka and Water in second. Wicked Genius is third, Charter Oak fourth, Chasing Time to the final furlong, and now he's running up the score. Chasing Time 5 in front. Vodka and Water tries to hold Charter Oak for second. Joel Rosario and Chasing Time, yes. Chasing Time won by 7. Vodka and Water, good second. Charter Oak third. Wicked Genius finished fourth.
Welcome back, Joel Rosario. First win for him and his first day back here since he's been out since December 2nd with that hairline rib fracture.
Glad to see Joel back and glad to see him in the winner's circle. This was a rocking chair winner. This horse ran very well, stretched out, and very effective. I'd like to see the 3 back with a rider change, because you don't see too many rides like the 3 got, and I do think there's an argument with a different kind of ride and trip. Could have been second, was never being this horse, but that was pretty preposterous.
Joel with the peak back, he had plenty of separation. Second win, last 3 starts for the 3-year-old son of Not This Time. Good for Joel. We're going to take a timeout. It's been a tremendous start to the winter meet for that man right there, Rudy Rodriguez. He just had a win with Yankee Division. Talk more about him when we come back.
Start spreading the news. If you're looking to win in New York, then breed in New York. To War Dancer, the millionaire son of Warfront, and New York's #1 sire of 3-year-olds. Breed to a proven performer, the #1 second crop sire at the Saratoga meet with multiple winners at Belmont and Aqueduct. Earn double the New York Breeders' Awards and participate in the New York Stallion Series with $2 million in purses. War Dancer, proud to stand in New York. Visit wardancerstud.com.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit nairabets.com.
Spun to Run. In the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, he defeated a loaded field that included multiple Grade 1 winners Omaha Beach and Improbable. His brilliant speed figures were among the fastest of any 3-year-old at a mile or more. And he hails from the legendary Danzig sire line. Multiple graded stakes winner, millionaire, Breeders' Cup champion, Spun to Run, standing at Gainesway.
Introducing Adelphi Racing Club, the horse racing syndicate offering more than just fractional ownership. Enjoy the thrill of an interactive thoroughbred ownership experience competing at the sport's highest level. Attend events where you'll interact with top trainers, industry professionals, and club members. We've cheered on winners from coast to coast at top tracks such as Santa Anita and Saratoga.
And it will be Exotic West.
Become part of a group that celebrates success together. Visit AdelphiRacing.com and join the club today.
We're back on America's Day at the Races. Good to have you with us here on FS2. Back in the 8th, the feature on this card here at Aqueduct. Rudy Rodriguez, Trevor McCarthy team up with Yankee Division. Had to fight this one out late.
Yeah, but it was a pace that was really tepid, and it held together. But he got the job done, and good ride by Trevor McCarthy. Is that Trevor's second win today? I'm a big Trevor fan, as you probably know. I would give some credit, and I'm not defending, because I picked the horse as a favorite, and he ran 4th. But I think the way the race was run, Seven Lilies ran a lot better than it may look. He just had too much to do.
6-year-old, back-to-back wins now, son of Midnight Loot. And he was favored for about 99% of the wagering until the last click. And it went to Seven Lilies, so he was second choice in here. $6.50 for the win. He's now 5 for 11 here at the Big A. Water's Edge, no salt, 2nd and 3rd. We have some news for you for tomorrow's card at Aqueduct. Live racing has been canceled in New York due to dangerously low wind chill. Values forecast with the wind chill expected to be -5. So as a result of that, no racing at Aqueduct tomorrow, but our program will go on. We'll be on FS1 from 2:30 to 5:30. We will have Oaklawn and Tampa Bay Downs from Oldsmar, Florida.
I will be here part of that time with you. Maggie will be here the other part. We will be here. It will be cold. We will be braving it up here on the 3rd floor.
Nothing too cold for us to handle.
No, we're hardened, tough.
It's going to be a tough walk off that A train into this building at
It is.
-5. 9th at Aqueduct, Rudy Rodriguez. He took the feature. He's got a first-time starter here trying to take this nightcap on the card with Rock Lobster. Rudy, of course, his biggest moment when he was a rider came in 2008 in the Suburban.
I was there, paid $80. Dutro, train, Frost Giant, upset the field, 40-1. Got it done, and Frost Giant passed away this week.
Really good son of Giants Causeway, who was exceptional on the grass, but he wasn't really a one-hit wonder on dirt either. Very good dirt horse.
No, he was a talented racehorse. He battled back gamely, but he was a big price near, and that was Rudy Rodriguez's Grade 1 win.
Yeah, his one Grade 1 win. Yeah.
Rudy didn't ride that much. Rudy's a much better trainer than he was a jockey, and I think he'd be the first to tell you that.
No, he's having, as we showed you, tremendous start to this meet here at Aqueduct. Just took the feature, and he's going to try and win with a horse who right now on the board is taking a little bit of money. A first-time starter, Rock Lobster, 10-1 morning line, who's 7-1 right now. 3-year-old filly by Painter.
I mean, there's a little bit of pedigree. The Dam is more of a turf horse, but she's produced a dirt horse okay. A little more distance. Used that one. I used him protectively for Rudy. I'm taking a shot with a 6 Pals Alley. I'm alive in the double with this horse. He actually read pretty well after blowing the brake last time. The problem is, Maggie pointed out to me, he has one eye. He has trouble getting out of the gate. He needs to brake sharply.
9-1 on Pals Alley. Post-parade when we come back, the finale ahead. From Aqueduct, still have the feature coming up with CZ Rocket, former runner-up of the Breeders' Cup Sprint as well from Oaklawn. Stay with us. We'll be back right after this.
Run Happy is the #1 second crop sire by stakes winners, graded stakes winners, and earnings. Run Happy is represented by Smile Happy, the Kentucky Derby individual Future Pool 1 favorite. A leading dirt sire, and now with an exciting Kentucky Derby hopeful. Call Bernie Sams now and book your mare to Eclipse Champion Run Happy right now. Run Happy standing in stall 1 at Claiborne Farm.
You're watching America's Day at the Races on FS2. Thanks for spending part of your Friday afternoon with us. Our program brought to you by NyraBets. You can download the app. You can go to NyraBets.com. You can get signed up and started and play all these races we bring you each and every day. Nightcap from New York here coming up. 6 furlongs, New York breds in a $25,000 maiden claiming race. And this is, you look at the board, it's a great wagering race. Your favorites at 4-1.
14-horse war to close out the action in our last race until Sunday, where there probably will be a pick 6 carryover with only Midmon, who I think you accurately pointed out be a bit of an overlay at his current 27-1 odds. He's the only horse covered, probably a random ticket of some sort. He's covered. We wish that person the best of luck, but almost 43,000 to carry over Sunday. Finish that Sunday card, Greg.
Yeah, as mentioned, Saturday action canceled here in New York in case you missed it. Going to be extremely cold tomorrow. Let's head downstairs to Maggie.
As we'll take a look at a horse who drops out of the New York Stallion Series Stakes. That's number 4, Half Birthday. Did absolutely no running in that, but meets a much easier field today. As too, she put the blinkers on that day, and she was acting up quite significantly in the paddock and out on the racetrack, kind of with those on. It was as if she was so nervous to have them on and not be able to see things around her that I think she reacted negatively to it. She looks great relative to this field. As I often say, sometimes you see horses in a different light from race to race, and a lot of it has to do with the company that they're facing, and she's a bit of a standout here in the paddock too. I think less ground is better, getting back to the 6 furlongs, so I think Half Birthday makes a lot of sense here. Blinkers coming off and the Lasix being given to her today has just made her a lot more settled here in the paddock as well. Moving on to a second-time starter for Todd Pletcher. Tap the Heart comes off of a bit of a layoff here after being kind of forwardly placed, chasing along the rail, and she was done at the quarter pole. Maybe she needed Lasix. She gets it here. One that I didn't see in that debut back on November 13th, but I like what I'm seeing here. Not the biggest filly to write home about, but carrying her conditioning well, looks fit, really strong heading into this effort, and she just kind of makes sense given the connections and given the slight drop in class with the Lasix today. Then there's a first-time starter for trainer Rudy Rodriguez. He'll look to secure the late double. Rock Lobster, son of Painter, or excuse me, daughter of Painter. Dam never broke her maiden, but better races did come on turf. The half-brother, though, won his first 2 starts and became a stakes winner, actually going long on the dirt, and is 4 for 7 in his life. Maybe she wants to go a little bit further than this, but not necessarily looking at her physically, though I will say with the Painter, awesome again, bloodline, they tend to be smaller horses that don't strike you as wanting to run long, but ultimately they do. She just looks like she's going to benefit from a start. She's not the fittest and most well-conditioned firster that Rudy has led over here, hence probably why she's showing up for the 25. First time out, Greg.
All right, Maggie, thank you. We'll get to our post parade here coming up. 8-1 on Rock Lobster. Rudy Rodriguez trying to take this late double on the Friday card with his daughter, a Painter.
Yeah, I mean, Rudy's numbers are okay with his first-time stars in maiden claiming races. In general, I'm, circumspect, but boy, I'll tell you what, it's not going to take a monster effort to get it done. It's interesting, the apprentice, Jose Gomez, is on the 1. Endless Crusade. He lost his 10-pound bug today, his fifth win today. In fact, we saw 2 10-pound bug riders win today with Elsa Morrison get the win. We've talked about her before, but Gomez. Jose Ortiz was actually scheduled to ride Endless Crusade. This race is somewhat of a bring-back race when we canceled last Friday, but Jose is in Saudi Arabia. If people were wondering why he isn't riding, I believe he won a race in Saudi Arabia today. We wish him a safe trip home. I don't know. He's out of the gun from the rail, isn't he, this horse? Last race was okay, though, right?
Speed against, at least on paper, a better group. Gets Lasix, gets a 10-pound bug.
With other speed.
I'm sorry, does not, right?
7-pound bug. I like Jose Gomez. He has not gotten the message that you're not allowed to send Speed Horse to lead around here, and I know that he's working with Angel Cordero. Angel told me, and Angel is very, very high on him, and he's been helping him along, and nobody better than Angel did not go to the jockey school in Puerto Rico. I know we talk about that a lot, but he told me yesterday, texted me that he actually is a rider from down there, did not go to that school.
Should be in front. Can he keep it going? This is the lowest level she has ever run at, and here she is. Endless Crusade dropped down and gets a fast track for the first time in a while.
The thing is, there's a lot of speed near the 4, the 11, the 12, but you know that Gomez is going to send this horse. He does not rate speeds, which I like about him.
9-2. Next door, first-time starter by Alpha for Chris Englehart.
Not taking any money as a 1/2 to 6 foals that did little to no running.
Rudy Rodriguez, his first-timer, Rock Lobster.
There was one foal that was okay, ran buyer figures in the 80s, but a little more distance maybe. This horse may not be like a sprinter type, twin 6 furlongs.
2 decent efforts from Half Birthday before trying Stakes Company, and now a more realistic spot.
Yeah, but a horse claim from Brad Cox. Maggie liked him more than I do.
Midmon, that's the one alive in the pick 6.
Wish that person the best of luck.
28 to 1. Still way too big a price. Pals Alley, Chris Englehart.
I like this horse. Actually ran okay last time, but needs to break cleanly.
29 to 1 Keen Dancer.
Yeah, I preferred others here. I'm not going to knock a big price, but just hasn't done any running.
Eudaimonia, Rick Schosberg.
I didn't like this one, but my friend Nick Tamaro has a good opinion, likes him, so I threw him in his long shot opinion.
Lowest level she has run at yet. Boom Roasted 12 to 1.
Maybe a dry track will help out this daughter of Practical Joke.
Blinkers and Lasix for start number 2. And Sweetie Pie, second start.
I don't know. I just did no running first time out. Did take some money, though.
The Honorable Ruth, lowest level she's been at for Ray Handel.
Gotta love the name, and this one does have races that make her competitive, but she's also 4 times out, 4 times sitting the board, but not winning.
RBG fans. Tap the Heart, Todd Pletcher took a little money in the debut and had a little bit of an excuse.
Well, it was down in a rail that may not have been good that day, but that was a terrible field. And in that field, for Todd Pletcher to be only 2 to 1 and not a heavy favorite, not a good sign.
And Lost Anchor, rider changed Jackie Davis on this one.
Yeah, we'll see how Jackie does. I like Jackie as a rider. Tough outside post.
Yeah, we didn't talk about Unbridled's Reign. Blinkers on and gets Lasix for Mike Maselli. Dylan Davis on the 13. Let's go to JK for his thoughts on the nightcap.
Yeah, I thought 2 of the horses towards the outside made a little bit of sense. The 11, Honorable Ruth, and the 12, Tap the Heart. I'll start with the 12, and hopefully... Oh, hi, Mitch. Good to see you. The 12, Tap the Heart. This is a horse that took a little bit of money on debut for Todd, and I agree with what Andy's saying. This horse probably isn't very good, you know. And when I say very good, I mean very good for the standards that you would see most horses that show up for Todd Pletcher. But this horse did have some excuses, like Andy said. Maybe you didn't want to be down towards the inside. It was a sloppy racetrack. First start for this horse. That's a lot to try to handle, being stuck on the inside and then having to deal with a sloppy racetrack. So just maybe getting drawn towards the outside, having a second time around there, getting Lasix for the first time, just maybe that could help Tap the Heart. Another one I don't necessarily trust, but I'm also not going to be shocked if the 12 wins. The 11, the Honorable Ruth, is another horse that's taken some money at times, has shown a little bit of ability, has a little bit of tactical speed, and another horse that's going to be getting Lasix for the first time. I'm not crazy about this horse as the favorite, but I do think that the 11 and the 12 are the types of horses that could get it done. And in fact, my pick 6 that's no longer with us, and it hasn't been with us for quite some time, the 11 and the 12 are the horses that I use in this spot.
Well, Ray Handel with the 11, the Honorable Ruth. He's having a great meet. 26%. This one has been competitive against better. What do you think?
Oh, that horse could definitely win this race. I mean, I've got her in the mix. I picked her second, as a matter of fact. I'm going to try to get the 6 home. You know, I'm live in the double with the 6. I think the 6 is an interesting horse, but listen, I wouldn't want to go too strongly for or against anybody in here. You know, it's just that kind of race, right?
Well, there's Boom Roasted, start number 2 for the Tom Morley barn. With more, let's go to Maggie.
Yeah, we'll check in with Boom Roasted. And as I say, I don't like to necessarily talk about Tom's horses a lot of times because his horses do look good. They just, you know, it's often, is it the fastest horse? But sometimes in these fields, it does count in how you look. And she does look very good. And she's a very big, heavy filly. And it's just one that's had to race into fitness a bit here and gained a lot from that first effort. So much more defined second time out here. Also gets Lasix and a short cheater cut blinker. It just seems more tuned in, more clued in to what her job is. She's a big price. She's going to have to run much better than what she did first time out. But do look for a bit of improvement and maybe one to use underneath, guys.
She's 11-1. Thanks, Maggie. Yeah, this is a great race to play exotics. Tries, supers.
This is a
definitely can get some numbers.
Race. Not an easy race, no question about it.
And again, the pick 6, it will carry unless a 34-1 shot wins this race, the 5 Midmon.
I will be cheering if Pals Alley. Pals Alley needs to break. If she can break, I think she can win. She really ran well last time. She broke a couple lengths behind the field, and then, you know, she may have contributed to the problems because she has the one eye, as Maggie noted, but she was sort of taken out of the race, having even worse after that. And a clean break, and she won't have speed because the rider rarely has position.
Patch, another good one that had one eye.
That's right. Patch is at Old Friends.
Is he?
I believe I got a bookmark from Old Friends the other day with a picture of Patch on it. If I could find it, would you like it?
I would.
I know, big Patch fan.
Thank you. There's the 3 Rock Lobster. Rudy Rodriguez again looking for this late double. Yankee Division won the feature. Can he win here with his first-time starter? Coming up, no racing tomorrow here in New York. Our program will continue, though. Again, we have racing from Oaklawn. Still ahead today, in fact. We're going to see CZ Rocket in the feature coming up. Of course, it was second in now 2 years ago, the Breeders' Cup Sprint behind Whitmore. So that's still ahead. Let's go upstairs. John Imbrial with the call here to close out the card here in New York today.
Waiting for Keen Dancer and Lost Anchor. They're all in the gate. And they're off. That's the Honorable Ruth, and down at the rail, Endless Crusade. They are 1-2, and on the outside is Tap the Heart, a close-up third. And then comes Half Birthday, who is racing in fourth. Lost Anchor on the extreme outside, runs in fifth. And then it's Boom Roasted next in sixth. And Boom Roasted is followed next by Mid-Mon. As the field moves along here with Endless Crusade on top here. And then the Honorable Ruth running in second. Tap the Heart is next in third. Lost Anchor on the outside runs in fourth. And it's a break of 4 lengths back to Half Birthday, who is next in fifth. Boom Roasted is in sixth, followed by Eudaimonia next in seventh. Then comes Mid-Mon in eighth, followed by Tap the Heart on the outside, followed by Sweetie Pie as they come off the turn and enter the stretch. And it is Endless Crusade down on the inside, and the Honorable Ruth on the outside. The Honorable Ruth and Endless Crusade, they've opened up 5 lengths on the rest of the field. On the outside, the Honorable Ruth with the lead. Endless Crusade down at the rail in second, followed next by Tap the Heart. As they come on for the finish, it will be the Honorable Ruth to win it here, and it's going to be close for second here at the end. Pal's Ally got up for second, a 4-way photo for third.
The Honorable Ruth, Jalon Samuel. Ray Handel's terrific meet continues here. 5th time out, breaks are maiden.
Nice to see Jalon back in the winner's circle as well, as we was out for a week with COVID. Ray's a good trainer, and he's doing a good job. You know, he's got a horse that's pointing towards the Withers, Constitution lawyer. He had a very impressive, from another mother, won yesterday's first race with, I think, an 87 buyer or mid-80s buyer. Just lured at an 84. Things are going well for Ray, and I hope they continue. Good guy, and I will tell you, that was some fly. I said to you right here, you see the horse with the red hat in the middle of the track, the widest of all. I said to you, I got a shot to get up for second here, and that was Pal's Alley, who was way back. I think he was 13th on the backstretch, and he was absolutely flying. He did not get left today. He couldn't beat the winner, who was the favorite, but he made a heck of a run to get second.
He did at 11-1, but your winner, the Honorable Ruth, 3-1, and it took until the final race on the card to get a favorite.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing, huh? This was the race, right? This was not the race that you would have said.
Wide open race on the card.
It's amazing, right? 14-horse field of fairly slow maidens, and that was the first winning favorite. 1:16.93 for the 6 furlongs.
Track record not equaled in that race. Back to Oaklawn. 7th is coming up next. It's a maiden special weight, 2-turn mile, and then it's the feature with CZ Rocket returning for his 8-year-old debut. This race ahead, Princess Pauline, Steve Asmussen, Joel Rosario looking for his 2nd win on his first day back.
Well, feels like a tough race. We'll see how Joel does. You know, this horse, I don't really like this horse. I think the last race is kind of phonied up, much as I root for him. I think he's phony. I'll tell you what, if the 10 can clear from the outside, I believe he's going to win. He is also the favorite.
Super Saver filly with Ricardo Santana Jr., who, 5-2 right now. Let's go to Gary Stevens.
Yeah, guys, a lot of excitement pre-race down here. The 5-horse was a late scratch. This paddock here at Oaklawn Park, it's very small, it's indoors, and the fans are up above, and it's very claustrophobic for some of these younger horses with not a lot of experience. Anyway, the 5, she reared up and tipped over. That's an automatic scratch. She's fine. She walked back to the barn. And then the 14 horse who scratched in, also eligible, she got a little bit rambunctious in the post parade, was dancing on her hind legs, and they had to break post parade with her. But other than that, I'll tell you, he looks good out on the racetrack. The usual suspects here, the 3 and the 4 horse. They're, favored right now. 3 to 1, 5 to 1 for the 4. But the 4 filly, coming off of a nice race at Del Mar this past fall, in November, finishing second in that race, going 7 furlongs, stretched out off of a second-place finish, first time out at Santa Anita. The filly that won that race at Del Mar came back and was a winner again, so it was a live race that she's coming out of. Been training well here at Oaklawn Park. She's my pick, and going to have to outrun the 3, Princess Pauline.
Gary, thanks. So 5 to 1 on a filly who faced winners as a maiden and went toe-to-toe with a filly in that group who came back to win again. 5 to 1?
I don't like this horse at all.
Okay.
With all due respect, I think that the race this horse comes out of very weak. It's a 7-pound apprentice rider riding this horse too, right?
No, it's a change.
Oh,
Thiago Pereira.
Thank you for that. That's Gary's rider. I'm glad Gary mentioned the 14, Face Reward, who gets in. The dam won the Kentucky Oaks, Believe You Can, ran for trainer Larry Jones as a homebred for the former governor of Kentucky, Brereton Jones. I know this is a very tough race. I do think if the 10 clears, she's going to win, but she's got to clear. She is the fastest horse early.
Meanwhile, it's a slight cut back in distance for the favorite, the 3, Princess Pauline. Joel Rosario, Steve Asmussen, Stone Street Stables, and a daughter of Curlin, making her 4th career start. She'll get Lasix today. Let's go to Vic Stauffer, race 7 from Oaklawn.
Star table goes in. Ice Orchid is ready. Couple of more. Wicked Wonder and Faith's Reward. They're at the post. They're off. Swap Shop broke well, and so did stablemate Faith's Reward. The 2 Brereton Jones horses inside and outside to the front. Ice Orchid away a sharp 3rd and taken in hand. Then comes Wicked Wonder, Princess Pauline, and Ain't Broke to the outside. Awesome Taylor is next, followed by Clay's Cloudburst and Sweet Beauty, and the trailer is Star Table. To the back stretch, Swap Shop is the leader, and she struts her stuff to lead by 2.5 lengths from Ain't Broke and Faith's Reward. Down at the rail, a sharp 4th is Wicked Wonder, and she's going to try to get into 2nd soon. 2.5 lengths to Ice Orchid and Awesome Taylor, the California Invader. Princess Pauline has 6 lengths to make up. She's 3 in front of Sweet Beauty and Clay's Cloudburst. Star Table is the trailer. 4.5 furlongs from the money. The finish line is the 16th pole, and Swap Shop is the leader. It is Swap Shop into the far turn, 1.5 lengths in front of Ain't Broke in the 2nd. Faith's Reward and Wicked Wonder right together 3rd and 4th. Then comes Awesome Taylor and Ice Orchid. Those 2 just bounced off each other, and they're both on the move, but it's Awesome Taylor who gets the jump on Ice Orchid. 3 back to Princess Pauline and Sweet Beauty, and here comes Awesome Taylor 3 wide, making a move for the front. Swap Shop, Ain't Broke, and a 3 wide Awesome Taylor. These 3 across the track. Now 3 back to Faith's Reward. To the outside, and Ice Orchid, Awesome Taylor, and Ain't Broke. These 2 to the final furlong. Ice Orchid has moved into 3rd, and she's trying to re-rally, running a very big race. Awesome Taylor just in front. Ain't Broke. Ice Orchid to the outside, closing. Awesome Taylor, Ice Orchid, gonna be close. Awesome Taylor. Awesome Taylor beat Ice Orchid. It is close for 3rd between Swap Shop and Ain't Broke.
Coming out of a race against winners when she just missed against a horse who'd come back to win again, floated up to 8 to 1.
Hey, I didn't like, as I said before the race, I didn't like this horse at all. So I can't, you guys liked it more than I did, and I think Gary's rider.
Yeah,
getting the
Tiago
wins.
Pereira, well
Yeah.
done.
Weird trip for the 10. You know, the 4 sort of rushed by the 10, and Santana wasn't in as big a hurry as the rider on the 4, and then re-rallied, couldn't catch him, but also didn't make the lead in here. Not a bad first start for the 14 as well, who had that tough outside post, had to be ridden aggressively for position.
So Awesome Taylor, daughter of the 2-year-old Champ Classic Empire, with the victory, holding off that late charge from Ice Orchid under Ricardo Santana Jr. Second time out, much improved effort, or at least improved effort. And an 8-1 in the 7th from Oaklawn. Prices from this race when we return here on America's Day at the Races. And of course, the feature still to come. Next up, CZ Rocket. Multiple graded stakes winner. Runner-up of the Breeders' Cup Sprint a couple years ago. He'll be the one to beat ahead.
A Grade 1 winner on both dirt and turf, War of Will became a classic winner with this victory in the Preakness Stakes. And added a Grade 1 with turf credentials in the Maker's Mark Mile. A winner in Grade 1 placed at 2. Multiple graded stakes victor at 3 and Grade 1 winner again at 4. This son of Warfront has proven his class at every level. At Keeneland November, his first mares and foals sold up to $310,000. War of Will, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Need help in finalizing your picks for the next race? Check out the Track Master selections provided by Equibase on every U.S. thoroughbred and harness track on Naira Bets. Use these selections to get quick expert advice for professionals in the business. Check out the thumbs up graphic next to the pick in the wager pad and scroll down for more details on the horse. Track Master selections available on Naira Bets and the Naira Bets app.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
Back on America's Day at the Races on FS2. Good to have you with us. Greg Wolf, Andy Serling, Gary Stevens, Jonathan Kinchin remaining with you here as we have the features still ahead from Hot Springs, Arkansas. Let's close out the card here in New York. Nightcap goes to the Honorable Ruth, trained by Ray Handel, Jolon Samuel, Richard Newman Racing, and wins as the 3-1 favorite, the only favorite on this Friday card to win.
Amazing. We should be highlighting the 6. I don't know if she's in the picture yet, actually. Amazing run, but nice for Ray. Ray's really on a good run, Ray Handel. I'm glad to see it. I like Ray, and a good trainer, too. You know, he's one of these guys he's sort of on the fringe of not being under the radar. You know, he's starting to get some better horses, does such a good job, and, you know, while I don't think this horse is going to win stakes, Ray's got a horse who could be, if not the favorite, one of the favorites in that Constitution Lawyer in the Withers. And that's how you start getting above the radar. You start getting horses in big 3-year-old races.
The Honorable Ruth, $8.10 for the win. Pick 6 is hit. $42,913. Pick 5 pays over $3,600 with a $20 winner to start it. The Cobbler, that was the only first-time starter in that field. Harmer and Ammer off the claim winning as an 8-year-old. So Yankee Division, you could make an argument, should have been the favorite.
Yeah, I agree. The parlay was it paid about twice the parlay. Not the same correlations there used to be, the way the betting is done.
Back at Oaklawn, Awesome Taylor. Tiago Pereira. Rider change. Well done, Gary Stevens, representing this rider.
Yep. Congrats to Gary. Nice win for him. for sure. And, you know, this is a very good aggressive ride, and I think, you know, if you're Ricardo Santana, you're probably saying to yourself, now maybe he just didn't have the horse, but I think a much more aggressive ride around the turn got this horse ahead of Key Ice Orchard. Maybe she wasn't responding as much, but it felt like just sort of a more aggressive ride and got it done. Nice job. Congrats.
$18 for the victory. 4-10-1. Feature is next. We've been talking about it all afternoon long. The return of CZ Rocket for first start back now as an 8-year-old, multiple graded stakes winner, one of the top sprinters in the country over the last few years, and the runner-up of the Breeders' Cup Sprint a couple of years ago to Whitmore. He's beat Whitmore. In fact, that was his last win when he beat Whitmore in the Count Fleet at this racetrack.
He really had Matt Whitmore's number here, didn't he? Now, they renamed the Count Fleet the Whitmore?
No, the Hot Springs.
The Hot Springs became the Whitmore. Was it the Hot Springs or the Whitmore that he seemed to win every year? Or one of those races he won like 37 years in a row or something.
Both, I think.
He won it before he was actually running.
Well, we'll see if CZ Rocket can step up in his 8-year-old return. Meanwhile, what about Concert Tour? Last year's Rebel winner. Back for his 4-year-old debut, now with Brad Cox. We'll have a preview when we come back.
Good Magic's in front. Good Magic pulls away from Sobomini. Good Magic's gonna win his first race, and he's gonna do it in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Good Magic to the front of the field in the Toyota Bluegrass to win it. The champ is back. Good Magic in a good-looking performance.
800,000, 75, 875, 8.5. Pete, 775,000. Thank you.
We're back on America's Day at the Races program, brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net. Today, Greg Wolf alongside Andy Serling, our feature race coming up next, and the return of CZ Rocket. It'll be fun to see if he can get back to some of his better races. He may not need his best in this field. He's even money right now.
Yeah, and I'm not going to take a big position against him. I think that Seven Nation Army has a chance, and Cazadero is obviously the interesting horse towards the outside, though he's been a bit of a disappointment after his terrific start. He's actually favored, I believe, against his stablemate, Jackie's Warrior, in the Saratoga Special as 2-year-olds.
Imagine that. Coming up this weekend, more great action at Oaklawn and another return of a star on last year's Triple Crown Trail, the Rebel winner from last year when he was with Bob Baffert Concert Tour. He's now with Brad Cox. This will be the 4-year-old debut coming up. And a tough return for him in this spot. He'll take blinkers off. Joel Rosario will be aboard.
This is a wildly competitive race, and it'll be interesting to see what Brad Cox can do with this horse. He's got potential. I wonder if he's better going shorter, you know? Is he a horse that might be better coming to a race like the Carter ultimately? And I think the other question with him is, do you trust him not getting the lead? Because in this race, he was able to control in a very moderate pace, and he looked great. But then in the Arkansas Derby, he stalked. and he came up completely empty in that race. And with the 1 Thomas Shelby and the 9 Mucho and their speed, I don't see this guy getting an easy lead or necessarily even getting the lead in this race. And I just wonder how effective he's going to be, especially going longer and rating. Be interested to see what Brad Cox can get out of him this year.
Well, that was the race when there was that big Caddo River. It was all out, right? Wanted to get to the front.
Yep.
All or nothing. We'll see. Fresh off the bench, if he can get to the front with more on this race. Let's go to Gary Stevens.
Yeah, guys, I really can't disagree with anything that Andy had to say about this horse. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does with the new connections for sure. But it's a stiff race. Thomas Shelby, he's a horse that's very sharp right now, a seasoned vet. You know, there's 2 or 3 in here. Snapper St. Clair, another horse that's just an old war horse, rated R superstar. He's a millionaire. So I look for the horse to come into the race fit. He's got plenty of weapons to work his horses with over there, so I'm sure he's got a good gauge on where he's at. He's been training in New Orleans, ships over for this race, but I don't think it's going to be handed to him by any means. I look for him to run a good race. When he won the Rebel last year, then he tailed off in the Arkansas Derby. He wasn't seen again until the Preakness, and he was beaten 34 lengths that day, and obviously something went awry. He's cut out to be a very good horse, but he is facing older for the first time, guys.
And you'd have to think he wouldn't be in this spot if he hasn't come back and trained like he's a horse that belongs to be in a stakes race like this.
And I think Brad Cox is going to have to see what he thinks he can do best with him, because it'll be interesting. You know, they can't run 7 furlongs at Oaklawn, and 6 furlongs might be a bit short for him if he's not able to compete at this level, you know, going longer. If it doesn't work out for him, would he consider cutting him back to 7 furlongs, bring him here for the Grade 1 Carter? Because he obviously has talent. The question is, where does it lie? And is he a horse that can rate? Maybe he can rate going shorter. But so far, he appears to me to be a kind of a need-to-lead horse. And those horses are dicey.
And you look at the Breeders' Cup this year. I know we're a long way away. There's no life as good in the Breeders' Cup 3rd Mile Division this year. He's targeting the Classic. Maybe this is a horse that's going to point to a race like that.
They would be very happy if they could get to a race like that. There's a long way to go. I'll be curious to see what he does. He's got a good trainer in Brad Cox, but I don't think that Brad is counting on him just yet to fill the
baby steps,
the big shoes of Nick's Go that are about to be available.
CZ Rocket making his 8-year-old return coming up in this race. Now he's odds on. He's 4-5. Got off to a slow beginning in that Breeders' Cup sprint at Del Mar and never really was able to make a dent in the competition that day. It's a lot easier group he's going to face here this afternoon. That's why he's such a short price. Florent Giroux will be aboard the Rocket back. We'll have the post-parade when we come back.
This is the horse.
He is just too good.
This is the horse who became only the 2nd champion 2-year-old to win the Travers in 3 decades. This is the horse who is the only Breeders' Cup juvenile hero ever to lift the Belmont Stakes. History-making brilliance. That's his essential quality. Essential quality. This is the horse. Just imagine.
Nobody wants to fall into a safety net, but when adversity or hardship presents itself, it beats the alternative. Since 1943, the Jockey Club Safety Net Foundation has been serving those individuals and families in need across every facet of the thoroughbred industry. Help us continue to be the safety net and catch those most in need. Visit tjcfoundation.org to learn more.
I'm very bullish on it.
Tom's D'Etat's got a 4-length lead at the 16th pole. Tom's D'Etat has conquered the Clark.
Your best horses of the last 10 or 15 years are not consistently as fast as this horse.
It's total domination for Tom's D'Etat.
He's a beautifully balanced horse and a really good mover, and he's just full of class.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit nairabets.com.
Meanwhile, CZ Rocket is racing up 5 wide. Is there a seam for Whitmore? And yes, there is. Here's Whitmore to come through. But meanwhile, CZ Rocket has slung shot to the lead. It is CZ Rocket, now a length and a half in front. Whitmore tries to come through from the inside, but CZ Rocket has the jump, and CZ Rocket wins the Count Fleet Sprint Handicap.
Well, CZ Rocket, he had Whitmore's number that day, of course, in the Breeders' Cup when it counted most. Whitmore had his number. He beats a 3-time winner of this race and a local favorite doing it.
He's had a terrific career. You know, he started out so good for Al Stall. He actually won his debut in a super tough maiden race at Saratoga. Won a couple races after that. He ended up, I think, the second choice in the Malibu, which I believe he might have run third. And actually, I don't think he hit the board that day. Kind of went the wrong way, but claimed by Peter Miller, he really turned it around, and he's had a sensational career.
Yeah, Al Stall, I saw him at Saratoga. He said, I have a good first-time starter that you're going to want to keep your eyes on. Debuting at Saratoga, he wound up winning that debut. And what a career he went on to have.
Yeah, you know, there was a horse in that race that Chad Brown had told me about back in April. And he told me the horse was a monster, but he had a slight setback. But he, you know, getting back, he didn't get the races until Saratoga. And I said, you know, is this the horse? And he said he is, but he's not the monster he once was. It's such a tough game, you know. You see horses that are working well and things happen, and they just aren't able to put it together. That was a very, very, very strong maiden field that he won. I think he got a 90-something buyer in his debut.
Well, in terms of who CZ Rocket is facing in here, here's one of several contenders. This horse is taking quite a bit of money. Knee deep in snow. Mike Maker second off the claim.
I don't like this horse at all. So maybe that'll get him in the winner's circle. You know, I'm a little bit suspect of horses' figures I'm sorry, he ran at Oaklawn. Excuse me. I guess he ran against Mucho. I don't know. I thought there were better horses than him, but I suppose his recent form's pretty good. I mean, Cazadero scares me a bit on the outside. His last race was pretty good. What about Seven Nation Army? Hasn't run since the Maryland Sprint. What do you think of him?
He's a danger.
Yeah.
No question, danger. Ron Moquette, trainer, of course, of Whitmore. The Hot Springs will be named after him now. But, yeah, this horse is absolutely dangerous off the bench.
Isn't he also? I mean, you know what is amazing about this race? There's not a lot of speed in this race, and that could work against CZ Rocket as well and be helpful to Cazadero and Seven Nation Army.
No, that's a real good point. There is severe maybe Cazadero's in front?
Well, I think Seven Nation Army, Lee, I don't think it's going to be moving that much in front, and I think that could hurt CZ Rocket.
Well, he comes from off it, we know that much, but he's usually pretty adept at running his competition down. We know he likes it here with that victory over Whitmore in the Count Fleet we just showed you.
And look at who was beating him. Dr. Schivel, Flagstaff, Ginobili, Dr. Schivel, 8 rings. You know, this horse is losing to some very, very good horses. And that's obviously it was a bit of a debacle in the Breeders' Cup, but still. That was the Breeders' Cup Sprint.
Yeah, we can forgive him that performance. Now we'll see. Look, 8 years old. Is it finally catching up to him? We will find out here. But at first off the bench, too, I mean, maybe even if he does get beat here, not necessarily the end for him. We can be forgiving off the layoff.
No question. You're absolutely right. They're looking to get him in that stakes program that progresses towards the lucrative Count Fleet. And I think if he runs well in here and doesn't win, I mean, you want to win, but you want him to run well. But as you say, 8 years old, you just never know when the clock starts to, strike 12. If it does.
Here he is, $1.5+ million in earnings.
His record speaks for itself, and if he doesn't get a lousy trip and runs his race, he's going to win. But I think he's a bit vulnerable.
Here's Seven Nation Army. He's been off since May for Ron Moquette.
I'm going to have to lose a few dollars on this guy at this price. He's the one who's got the fast races to go back to.
Lycan, 29-1 for Ingrid Mason.
He would have to step forward to beat these.
10-1 on Mojo Man, who does have some ability to be close early.
And he's a pretty generous price. Getting off the synthetic will help him, too, getting back to dirt.
9-time winner. Attachment rate, he ran in the Kentucky Derby 2 years ago against Authentic.
Strange to see him not in Dale Roman's barn, as Dale had him for such a long time. And he is a horse that in his day, he's run some fast figures.
5-1. We talked about Knee Deep in Snow, 6-year-old by Flat Out.
This one will surprise me. I think there are better bets. I think he's getting a little Ricardo Santana money, personally.
And Cazadero, he faced Jackie's Warrior back in 2020 to no avail. He's actually favored in that race.
I know, it's amazing. Well, I picked him ahead. Of course, I think I picked the second horse, the Ride of a Lifetime, in there. Tough spot off a 7-month layoff, but he's getting a lot of money. And listen, these Asmussen horses running, and his horses have been ready off layoffs at Oaklawn. I will say, it seems in general, win or lose, they've run well.
Well, as you mentioned, CZ Rocket, Florent Giroux, they could be up against it from a pace scenario. With more on the game plan for CZ Rocket and Florent, let's go to Gary Stevens.
Well, guys, if I'm Florent Giroux and I picked up the entries and see that I drew the one hole, I take a deep breath and exhale and say it is what it is. It's not where I would want to be. And I think I would like this horse a lot more today if Cazadero and he could exchange post positions. The way I ride this horse, I'm going to ride him like I'm riding the best horse, like a horse that's run second in the Breeders' Cup Sprint before, but I'm not going to rush him off of his feet the early part of the race. I think he needs to come away under his own power and be fairly close. And I expect him to be close because off the bench he should be sharper. He's been working lights out here at Oaklawn Park and doing well. I see him in the mornings, and I like what I'm seeing while he's out there training. But I don't want to see Florent rushing him away from there. Just get your position and let the horse do all the work. He's got the class. We know that he had the speed at one time. And Andy's right. He's been facing a lot tougher. This is no easy spot here, but if I'm Florent, I'm just going to let the horse do the work and hopefully stay along for the ride and get the money, guys.
Was odds on. Thank you, Gary. He's back up to 6-5 right now. No question he's the one to beat. As you look at attachment rated, monster number at 25-1. CZ Rocket, though, is his B game good enough to win here?
It's a good question. Maybe. It depends. I think it depends. Is it possible that Cazadero's improved? Because let's be honest, Cazadero's got to improve to beat any number of races if CZ Rocket runs close to his form. What he has is a tactical advantage, potentially. What about Seven Nation Army? This is a horse that's run quite a few buyer speed figures that are very, very much comparable to the races that CZ Rocket runs. I think we'll know kind of early what happens in this race. This is Seven Nation Army winning last year at Oaklawn and getting it done, albeit against lesser.
But doing it, earning a nice figure in the process.
Yeah.
He faced the kind of company that CZ Rocket's used to facing off this, and he was no match.
No, I agree.
But he went to the bench as well.
Something went wrong that day, too. And he's a horse who's forward. He was nowhere near the lead from the outside post. Something just went completely awry, and now we haven't seen him for 8 months. Ron McQuett, not a trainer with great numbers off layoffs, but, the thing is, tactically, just send him out of there. And if he breaks well and he can get the lead, I think he has a chance to upset the field. I bet a couple dollars to win on him. Use him in exactas with Cazadero and a little attachment rate, because I don't think attachment rate should be 27-1.
Yeah, way too big a price. Meanwhile, there's Cazadero. He's 2-1. Let's get Jonathan's thoughts here on the feature.
Yeah, look, back in the Breeders' Cup Sprint a couple years ago at Keeneland, I actually singled in my multi-race bet CZ Rocket. That's the kind of animal that I think that he is. Now, last year, he was not, I don't want to say forced, but he did not run with Lasix last year. And every time that he ran, I thought that it might be kind of a good angle to try to play against him without being able to run with Lasix. And he didn't win any of those races after the layoff. He did win early at Oaklawn, but that was on Lasix. I think it's important that this horse is on Lasix for various reasons. I think he'll run better today because he's on Lasix. And I'm surely not arguing with a Hall of Famer like Gary Stevens. I've only been on a horse twice, once in the Bahamas and once in Puerto Vallarta, and neither one of those led to a Kentucky Derby win. So I take his point there. But with CZ Rocket, I think he's going to take back, like he always does, make that one run down the middle of the track. Florent knows him well enough to be comfortable and to allow him to get into stride. I think CZ Rocket should be tough here. Back at Oaklawn Park, where he's won a couple of times, I think he's definitely the most talented horse in this race. Cazadero makes a little bit of sense to me, but CZ Rocket just feels to be a cut above the rest of these.
Well, his resume proves it, and he's been doing it for quite a few years. But now at 8 years old, his time caught up with him. We'll find out. He's even money. Public not swayed by that at all here. But we'll see if Cazadero has taken a move forward. He's intriguing. Seven Nation Army off the layoff. He could be forward early. He could be dangerous if he's on the front end.
Yeah, no, it's obviously the breaks are always important, and it's not like Cazadero's a blazing speed horse, but he's been he was improving before the layoff. The question is, can he take that step forward off a layoff? And as you say, it's somewhat of a moot point if CZ Rocket is able to run a good race and doesn't get a bad trip.
Well, here is Cazadero. The last time we saw him, it was June 19th of last year, and it was a win at 4-5.
Yeah. He beat a horse up Striker who did not run particularly well in subsequent races on that. I'm not sure how good they were, but he lost to Bob's Edge before that, who at that time was in fairly good form. I don't think he really went anywhere from there. We'll see. I mean, it feels like Cazadero, I think he's a bit of an underlay at 2-1 based on what he's done on the racetrack. I'm not sure why he's 2-1 and horses like the 2 or 7-1 if you're looking for alternatives. They're continuing to bet the Mike Maker horse quite a bit. Maybe they know something I don't know. Maybe he's working well. I didn't think his races really stacked up that well.
Joel Rosario already back in the winner's circle in his first day returning since he was injured back on December 2nd.
But he lost 3 races, Greg. It's kind of a bum, right?
Give him a break.
I love Joel, as you know. Had a nice little text exchange with Joel the other day, actually.
And
good guy.
Anything important said in that exchange?
Just,
welcome back.
Told him I was excited to see him back and looking forward to seeing him riding, and,
Did you say congrats on the impending victory?
Well, I don't want to jinx him. I've told him all along that I felt he was deserving winner, and I've told him that many times.
We will find out.
Said in the show. He's going to win this year.
He should. He probably will. We're all rooting for him. And we'll see if he can get the upset here. Cazadero, his mount from the outside post for Steve Asmussen in Stone Street. There he is. Just left our screen. But that is a formidable foe. He's going to have to try and hold off here late.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what kind of trip CZ Rocket works out, and you want to see him run well. I'll tell you, I'm looking forward to seeing that horse Hollis that beat Nashville, that ran that big 109 buyer figure, and we saw those horses come out of the race to run well, and we'll start to see them come together. And hopefully, you want CZ Rocket to run well because the more good horses in the division, the merrier.
Coming out of the Breeders' Cup Sprint, before that, graded stakes place in each of his opportunities. CZ Rocket back for his 8-year-old campaign from the rail. It's the feature from Oaklawn. Here's Vic Stauffer.
They're at the post. They're off. Seven Nation Army wins the break, goes to the front from Knee Deep in Snow away in second. Mojo Man and Cazadero are third and fourth. CZ Rocket breaks fifth and Lycan, and the trailer is Attachment Rate. Seven Nation Army up the back stretch. 3/4 of a length in front of Knee Deep in Snow in second. A length two. Cazadero 3 deep in third with Mojo Man at the rail in fourth. CZ Rocket gallops fifth. He's 4.5 lengths off the lead and a length in front of an all-in Lycan, and the trailer is Attachment Rate, and the leader is Seven Nation Army. 3 furlongs from the money. Seven Nation Army leads Knee Deep in Snow by still 3/4 of a length. Cazadero is pretty much all in. He is third. CZ Rocket angles off the rail, and here he comes with his run. CZ Rocket 4 from the lead. Seven Nation Army and Knee Deep in Snow top of the stretch. Knee Deep in Snow is outside of Seven Nation Army. These two headlong into the final furlong. None of the stretch runners making much impact. Knee Deep in Snow now takes the lead. Knee Deep in Snow, Seven Nation Army. CZ Rocket no better than third. Knee Deep in Snow in front. Knee Deep in Snow won by 2. Seven Nation Army was second. CZ Rocket third. Mojo Man finished fourth.
Knee Deep in Snow, 4th win of his career, 6-2-1 finish. CZ Rocket checks in third.
I was stubborn, and it cost me here. I should have just said my smart play is the 2 and had the exact and used him. But this horse has improved. He ran with the money. This was a nice effort. You could see he was running well the whole time. He showed more speed than he had shown necessarily in his last start, right there on top. You know, it was a great bet, betting a horse like Seven Nation Army at 2-1. He was ready to roll. He just ended up being second best. A horse who ran extremely well.
What about CZ Rocket? I mean, this is a horse who pretty much always shows up.
He was bad today. I mean, this race may come back a particularly fast race. They went 109.51. They put a lot of separation in the field. This race could come back and get a pretty strong figure. And let's be honest, the horses, as we said, that had speed, they ended up running 2-1 speeds. So it was against him, but he didn't really put in a run, did he, Greg?
He did not. Disappointing with what we've come to expect from him. It was his first start back. 8-year-old campaign. We'll see if he can move forward off his performance. It didn't set up for him particularly well. We didn't think going in.
I was stubborn. It cost me. Bad play on my part. I should have this exact. I'm mad at myself. My own fault. Totally my fault.
Big upset. Knee deep in snow. Mike Maker second off the claim. Ricardo Santana Jr. aboard for the victory. 6-year-old son of Flat Out takes the feature, beating CZ Rocket. We'll be back.
It's a domineering display by the ultra-talented McKenzie. McKenzie, Preservationist, Vino Rosso, and Yoshida. McKenzie's in front.
McKenzie, they've done it. McKenzie has it by 2. It's McKenzie in a dominant performance. Pure class in the Malibu.
Back on America's Day at the Races on FS2. Our program brought to you in part by Hillendale at Alapa. Feature in the books from Oaklawn on this Friday afternoon. And CZ Rocket upset, checks in third. It's knee-deep in snow. With the upset victory here, Ricardo Santana Jr. and Mike Maker, Paradise Farms team up for the victory.
Yep, and I'll be curious to see what kind of buyer speed figure this race gets, because I haven't been paying that much attention to the track, but 109.51, they were moving, and the fact they put so much distance on the other horses that it leads you to believe it was a pretty fast race, and I think Seven Nation Army was ready to roll off the layoff. He was just merely second best and knee-deep in show, and really, Mike Maker has turned this guy around. Maybe like Special Reserve last year, who he did so well with and turned it around and ran some big races. CZ Rocket, he'll get another chance, but he's going to have to improve off this effort.
6-2-1 in the feature. The nightcap coming up next. Of course, money earned allowance. It'll be 2 turns, mile and a 16th ahead. As we'll close out this card with Joel Rosario looking for his second win on his first day back of action.
This guy, he's clearly falling apart. The guy's only won 1 race in his return. It's embarrassing. Now, I kid, and I'm friendly with Joel. I'd like to see him do well, and it's just good to see him back. You know, we were here when he took the spill here at Aqueduct. It was almost 2 months ago. It was right in December.
December 2nd,
so, yeah. And it's great to see him back, and hopefully he's feeling well, and he's going to be a handful down at Oaklawn. That's a certainty. It's a handful wherever he is.
He'll be on Front Street for Steve Asmussen and Millennium Farms, son of Street Sense, coming off a win last time out. We're going to take a break. When we return, the story of a former Shug McGahee assistant who was part of the Godolphin Flying Start program. She's off to a flying start of her own at Oaklawn. The story of Lindsay Schultz next.
Grade 1 winner and track record setter Lee. Like their sire, his runners have excelled on both dirt and turf, including these standout performers.
Leading by 3, Gibberish and Dylan Davis.
Out of a Galileo mare, this dual-surface star has sired juvenile stakes winners on both dirt and turf. Lee, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Now more than ever, it's time to get with the program because New York Reds start with an advantage. New York Reds run for serious green at Belmont and Saratoga. New York bred maidens run for up to $75,000 and allowance horses for up to $85,000. And serious New York bred owners can collect awards of up to $20,000 per horse per race in open company. So get back with the program. Seriously.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
I always wanted to train myself, especially since I've worked longer at the track and been an assistant, and I know how hard I work and how hard trainers work, and that never scared me off, and it was always something that I thrived on. And I always wanted to also own my own business. You know, both of those things made it something that was appealing to me and something that I wanted to do.
Lindsay Schultz's foundation to becoming a trainer runs deep. She grew up riding hunters and jumpers in Connecticut and got her first job mucking stalls before becoming a teen.
Honestly, I didn't really watch much racing until I went to college. It took me a little while to get into it, but once I did, I didn't stop.
She chose the University of Louisville not because it's located in the heart of racing, but to ride on its equestrian team, and most importantly for the school's equine studies at the College of Business.
So that was kind of one of the things that drew me to Louisville, because a lot of the other equine programs don't have a business program to back them up. I try to be logical, and it made sense to learn the business side of it.
After graduating from Louisville, Schultz learned the game globally through a 2-year internship in Darley's Flying Start Management Training Program. The past decade, she worked as a longtime assistant to Tom Proctor, managed Glen Hill Farm in Florida before going to work for Shug McGahee. Then in November of 2021, Schultz finally felt it was time to go out on her own.
It was really important to me to really understand every part of the business, especially since I didn't grow up in it. I don't have parents in it. I wasn't born on a horse.
Schultz's euphoric moment happened in just her 7th career start. Last Saturday, the appropriately named Capture the Glory took charge in the stretch.
Capture the Glory is still strong, and this is going to give trainer Lindsay Schultz her first career victory. Capture the Glory indeed. Congratulations go to trainer Lindsay Schultz for her first training victory.
One of Lindsay's most promising horses is Glamour Girl. She showed her potential in her first start for Schultz by running big in a $100,000 allowance race a month ago.
Last to load, Glamour Girl. They're at the post. They're off. Excellent start. Sends you left, and it's all in the notes. Megan's Clara, and the early trailer is Glamour Girl. Half mile left to run in the finale. The trailer is Glamour Girl.
Well, I wasn't ready to cheer until I saw when she was inside, and he finally, it seemed like he had enough momentum, and it seemed like Florent finally thought, oh wait, I think I do have a chance here, and pulled her out and went on riding, and there she went.
Glamour Girl is flying from the back of the pack. Here comes Glamour Girl on a roll. It's all in the notes. Ship it. Glamour Girl to the outside. It's all in the notes. Ship it. It's Glamour Girl to the outside. It's all in the notes. Ship it and Glamour Girl.
He said she was getting out a little bit, which means that she was trying to go toward the outside of the track, and so that's always good to know, especially with a horse I haven't had too long. He said that he likes her and he was excited for the next race with her, and he thinks that she'll get better.
I'm happy she ran like she's been training, and I think there's, a little bit we can do to help her, and yeah, feel happy.
Well, Glamour Girl for Lindsay Schultz. We're going to see coming up in this nightcap to close out the card here. We'll have the inside post. Florent Giroux will be back aboard again, and hopefully a little cleaner break today.
Well, I don't know. Hopefully a fast pace to run up. But you're supposed to get a fast pace. I mean, there's plenty of speed signed on in this race, and not bad to draw the inside. So we wish her the best of luck. A bit of a price today, but a bit of a price last time.
Yeah, so 8-1 here coming up, and everyone in here has got to beat Asmussen and Rosario with Front Street. That's the one next door to Glamour Girl with a 2. Daughter of Street Sense. There's the winningest trainer in North American history going cash today in that blue sweatshirt.
Incognito. Tough to hide with that hair.
It's all his horses. They really do. They always look so good. And they always have that similar mane. Well groomed. This one, a lot of seconds, though, Andy. 6 seconds in 14 starts.
No, I agree. I think that's a very big concern with this horse. I mean, he won last time at 2-5. It took the horse 12 races to break the maiden. Now, to be fair, wasn't a short price and also has improved in the last couple starts for the Aspen barn. But I don't know. I didn't think the last race was that good. And with the presence of horses
that was sprinting in the sloppy race.
Right, and this is stretching out too pretty. Could have some speed outside. What about Trumpet Lily? Isn't she supposed to leave with David Cohen? Now, she doesn't have the benefit of the inside, but is it me or are they going a little hog wild for everything Joel is riding?
Yeah, I agree with you.
He can't work miracles. He's a great rider, but he can't make them faster. It is horse racing, and he's a great rider, but he's not the only good rider there. He may be the best rider there, but there's other very, very good riders.
You mentioned the 11. Cohen for Norm Cash on a filly who's going to try and win her 3rd in a row. She's been on the front end every step of the way, each of the last 2 starts, both, though, on muddy tracks in those last 2 starts. But she's won them by 15-plus lengths combined.
She's got to go, doesn't she? I mean, she's got to go. They can't rate her from the outside. She'll get absolutely nothing. And it feels like this pace could get pretty quick. I mean, the 9 has some speed. There's tertiary speeds like the 9 and 12. I mean, even the 13 getting in, that horse isn't impossible. This is a competitive race. Boy, I think the 2 is massively overbet in this race.
That's what you get with those connections.
Yep.
You look at the last 2 wins, they were both sprinting. It did run good on the stretch out. Got beat, though, by Since You Left, who's going to be, as you mentioned, to the outside in here. And that's the also eligible that draws in, that 13, who, by the way, I know it's all the way on the outside. Too big a number on that one, too, no?
Why is that horse 13-1? I mean, had some trouble last time out. I'm not in love with this horse's chances, but I agree. I mean, the 2 is 9-5, this horse is 13-1. That's a little tough to make sense of.
Post parade is coming up. First, we're going to check in with JK.
Yeah, look, we all know I'm rooting for the 1. 10 strike, right? But I do think the 9 is interesting. In Zone Athletics, Carl Broberg. This horse was claimed from Carl. Carl claimed the horse. They ran last time. It didn't go particularly well. I mean, from a speed figure standpoint, they won, but the horse didn't get faster. From a speed figure standpoint, I was looking for that horse to improve. Now, what I will say, though, is that they did get the job done, and I do think that there probably is another step forward from this horse since switching to Carl Broberg's barn, and you're getting a big price on the board. This isn't the type of horse that, like I said earlier, I'm cutting in line to bet to win. I do think that maybe a little bit on the horse at a big price to win, but this is a horse that I think if you're playing exactas and tries in this last race at Oaklawn, a big wide open race, this is the type of horse I think you can get in underneath in second and third, who will be running on late, and I think will probably improve a little bit. So I think the 9 Unburnt is interesting here in the last.
23-1 on one that JK given us a look to, this Carl Broberg runner with Ramon Vasquez.
It certainly feels like there are overlays on this board. And Jonathan's got an idea at 23-1. I salute that. I don't really have a great idea here. I just don't think the 2 is supposed to be 2-1 in this race. I wish that I could make a strong case for somebody in here. I can't. I'm not in love with anybody. I thought the 5 had a little bit of a chance, but I wasn't really a big fan. Not really a big fan. I don't know.
Let's ship it, the 5.
Don't think she's quite good enough. Listen, maybe the 1 ends up working out another good trip in here and getting it done. I mean, there's got to be some magic to us showing the Lindsay Schultz feature, right? Great job, by the way, narrating it, Greg. I really was very impressed. I hope everybody was as impressed as I was.
That's from the heart, right?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. Well, no, it's a neat story. And look, she learned from some of the best, working with Shug McGahee, going to that Flying Start program.
Yep.
And didn't take her long to get in the winner's circle. We'll see if she can keep it going here.
That Flying Star program has produced some terrific people. Tom Morley.
Yeah.
Was our friend Liza Hendricks in that program? I think as well. Liza was.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mitch Levitas, actually, an original member of the Flying Start program.
No, I'm not sure about that.
All right.
We'd have to go back in the records.
Yeah.
We're going to start with Lindsay Schultz's runner, who, again, we showed you in that package, just missed last time out in a similar condition. Missed by 3 parts of a length. And, you got to like the fact, too, that Florent Giroux got a little bit of a chance to get to know her.
And she's supposed to get pace to run out here. And with the rail, she can find that position much more easily. Just sort of let them go and drift into your position and just, get some room. I don't love her, but I got to think with the pace, she has a real chance to be a player here.
Front Street. Next door, Steve Asmussen, Joel Rosario still taking probably too much money at 9-5.
I agree. And there's just seems to me there's too many forwardly placed horses just to gift it to this horse on the front end.
Legendary Gift stretching out as well.
Tough race to stretch out. This one would need to improve.
Just broke her maiden career start number 8. 2 starts back. Here's the 5. This is Ship It.
I tried to make a case for her. I don't think she's impossible in this spot. She's another one that could work out a decent trip if the pace gets hot.
Princess Lee. It took her 11 tries to break her maiden. Her first try against winners. She was 4th, beat 5 lengths.
That's my concern, though, right? She's got the 4 seconds and 3/3. She's just not a winning type.
Sunny Isle Beach, big price.
She is. She did run a good figure 2 back going long, but overall I thought she's better going shorter.
Here's JK's big long shot play, Unburnt.
I'm rooting for JK's long shot. He likes a 23-1 shot. I didn't see this horse, but he did, and I'll root for him.
She's won 3 in a row. Too Pretty at 19-1. Ricardo Santana Jr. on a 19-1 shot.
Yeah, that's unusual, but this one, she needs to find a new engine.
Trumpet Lily. She's won back-to-back starts, both in the mud.
How does Cohen not go? I mean, she's been effective with speed. She's got to go.
Lil King's Princess was in this condition last time out, was behind Glamour Girl and Ship It.
Can she run back to the number she ran at Indiana? Well, she's speed, and how does she make the lead here with that post and the other speed near?
And here's in from the also eligible Ascent, who left, who beat the favorite 2 starts back.
I don't understand the price of this horse. I really don't. It doesn't make any sense to me. Yes, she's got an outside post and has to work out position. Yes, she had an inside post that day. And I don't love her, but I don't think the favorite should be. There's something wrong with the favorite being 9-5 and her being 15-1.
Yeah.
Maybe she's supposed to be 12-1 and the favorite's supposed to be 5-1, but I don't think there's supposed to be that kind of gap.
5 minutes to post in the nightcap coming up. Let's go back to Gary Stevens.
Now, guys, I've got Lindsay Schultz here with me right now. Lindsay, for the people that don't know you that well, you saddled your first winner last week for 10 Strike Racing. You've traveled the world with the Flying Start program, worked for trainer Shug McGahee as an assistant, Tom Proctor as an assistant, managed Glen Hill Farm. What was it like, though, saddling your first winner for yourself, your own operation?
I mean, it's just so exciting to get to the point to be able to actually have my own stable and run under my own name. And look, I mean, I'm doing things the same way I've been taught. I'm not changing anything, but it was exciting to be able to do it myself.
What about your chances here with the Glamour Girl?
Look, she definitely has a shot. She's doing well. There's a good bit of speed in the race, so if she can sit off it and make a run there at the end, we'll be set up well.
Outstanding and good luck.
Thank you very much.
Guys?
Continuing to take money. So Glamour Girl for Lindsay Schultz down to 5-1. She was 8-1, I think, with a wagering open in here, and she put in a huge late run in this same condition last time out. Let's go back and take a look at it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. You know, if the pace gets hot, this is a horse that can definitely win the race. She's got races. It's not like, you know, her other races, the race came out of nowhere. She made a big close, but she's supposed to get pace again, and she had the 10 post in this race. Now, I didn't watch the race again. I don't know if she lost some ground. It's a lot easier to get position from the rail than in these two-turn races than it is from the outside post. But she's also got 1 win in 18 starts and 9 seconds and thirds. That's a concern. But
if you're an owner, nice horse to have, right? Continuing to pick up checks.
Well, this owner's only had her once. You know, if you're an owner and you're Marshall Graham, everything's good.
Life is beautiful, yes, if you're 10 Strike and Marshall, who I got to meet this past summer at Saratoga for the first time. 8-5 favorite, Front Street, and a horse who has to, out of a sprint, has to be the one in front, right?
I don't want to know. I can't figure out who to bet in here. If you put a gun to my head, I might say the 5, Ship It, but I don't have a strong opinion. But I'd like to book $100 on Front Street at 8-5. That's what I'd like to do. And now that sports betting's legal, I think I should be able to do that. What do you think?
Well, let me see what I have in my wallet.
You want it? You don't bet 8-5 shots. One thing about you, Greg Wolf, you do not bet 8-5 shots. You're looking for prices. There's no chance you're betting an 8-5 shot. You're with me on that one. 9-5. I even booked those at 9-5.
Yeah, and not to mention, we brought it up already. All those seconds as well, including a second to a filly in here that's 14-1 on the outside, and that was stretching out. It seems like she's better sprinting than she is going longer. But she's taking all the money in here.
And neither of us are saying she can't win. But if she takes the pressure that appears she should take on paper, she's going to have a tough row to hoe. And at a short price, she feels very, very vulnerable. I think one of the problems is it is, you know, sometimes you look and you say, you know what, I want to bet against favor. I really like so-and-so. I don't feel a strong opinion on anybody here.
Well, let's go to the 11 here for a moment. So 5-1 Trumpet Lily. Those back-to-back wins, she dominated both those fields. She did it on the front end, but with the presence of Front Street, she's probably not going to be able to get to the front end today.
She's certainly going to have to work to do it. And as you pointed out accurately, she's getting to a fast track. Amazingly, she has been on a sloppy track in sloppy sealed or muddy sealed 5 of her last 6 starts. She's kind of bad luck. Her one dry track race, she didn't run well. She was a price that day. She has run well on dry tracks before, though. So I don't want to say it was the wet track. The problem is she's got to deal with the speed of the 2 as well. And you know Joelle is going from the 2 post. I don't see the 2 winning this race without the lead. You know, sprinters stretching out, they're usually not effective unless they're forward.
And, you know, back to Trumpet Lily, her 3 wins, she has never won when she has not been in front and gone gate to wire. So that looks like it's going to be tough today. What does David Cohen do with the fact that he's probably not quick enough with his filly to outpace this favorite? We'll see if she can show a new dimension.
I just enjoy the circle, you know, walking around circles behind the gate. I don't know about you, Greg, but that's grown to be one of my favorite parts of the day.
The anticipation of the finale.
Yeah, the big circle, you know? The big circle. The circle kind of fell apart, by the way.
It did a little
bit. They had a nice circle going, but now it's just a mess.
I do got to say, I like closing the card with. It's not the feature, but it's still one of the better races of the day.
Oh no, it's a tough puzzle. And it's been an interesting card. Listen, I'm looking forward to that 5th season tomorrow. I know you and I will be on together for that part. Maggie will be covering the first half of the card with you. Of course, I assume that Jonathan and Gary will be in their usual spots as well, covering Tampa and Oaklawn tomorrow.
Yeah.
We are canceled here at Aqueduct, in case you didn't hear that before. Going to be
weather,
very cold here.
With the wind chill, it's going to be about, feel like -5. That's what the forecast was. So, yeah, back to action Sunday in New York. But tomorrow,
I'm staying here tonight. I'm sleeping in the office.
FS1, we are on 2:30 to 5:30 tomorrow with, as Andy mentioned, Tampa and Oaklawn. And, yeah, that 5th season part of it, concert tour, his comebacks will be fun to watch. But a lot of veteran, older horses in there he's going to have to try and hold off, including Thomas Shelby. He's won 7 of his last 10.
All right, I'm booking Front Street, and I'm going to bet on Ship It. And I got to root for Jonathan. I got to root for Jonathan's bomb. Got to root for a guy who takes a bomb.
And that's Unburnt, the 9, who at 26-1 right now on JK's long shot play, who is trying to win 4 in a row. It's a big step up in terms of the quality that she's been facing, but numbers-wise, seems to fit. Vic Stauffer, nightcap from Oaklawn.
They're at the post. They're off. Too Pretty broke well, so did Lil King's Princess. These two with Trumpet Lily and Since You Left. Front Street is sharp, but taken back just in behind the leaders. Then comes a Ship It, Legendary Gift, followed by Sunny Isle Beach, and to the outside Unburnt. The 2 trailers are Princess Leah and Glamour Girl. To the backstretch with Lil King's Princess, the leader from Too Pretty, who relents and sits second. So Lil King's Princess clears off now and leads by 2. Since You Left and Too Pretty are together second and third. It's 2 lengths to Trumpet Lily in the red, 4th and about 2 from the front. Front Street is a tugging 5th just outside of her. Legendary Gift has 5 lengths to make up. Then it's a lineup of 3 headed up by Unburnt, between horses Ship It and At the Rail Sunny Isle Beach. Glamour Girl has 9 lengths to close and a half mile to do it. And Princess Leah is the trailer, and the leader is Lil King's Princess. And now she's trying to get away and win it right now, leaving the backstretch. Lil King's Princess, a 3.5 length advantage over Too Pretty. Front Street is advanced up into 3rd now, and 4 from the front. Then comes Trumpet Lily, a length and a half, 2. Moving up now is Legendary Gift. Then comes Sunny Isle Beach, Lil King's Princess, the leader at the top of the stretch. It's Lil King's Princess. She's got a big advantage. It's a 5-length lead over Too Pretty in second. Princess Leah is moving in the center. She's outside of Legendary Gift. Then Sunny Isle Beach, Lil King's Princess, a final furlong and a 4-length lead. Lil King's Princess to the final 16. Too Pretty is second. Then to the inside and Sunny Isle Beach, but it's Lil King's Princess clear to the wire. Lil King's Princess. Lil King's Princess won by 3. Sunny Isle Beach got second. It is close for third between Legendary Gift and Too Pretty.
32-1, horse in front, gate to wire. We thought we'd see the favorite there, not the case.
Well, they all rated, and somebody wired the field at 30-1. Joel Rosario showed clearly it was a design.
Yeah.
Joel, Steve Aspen, he had no inch in the lead, didn't go to the lead, and she was nowhere.
Again, racing in New York tomorrow, canceled because of cold weather, back on Sunday, but we'll be on FS1 with action from Oaklawn and Tampa Bay tomorrow afternoon. We're on at 2:30 Eastern Time, again over on FS1. Check your local listings. We will see you then. It was Yankee Division in the feature at Aqueduct, holding off a few late charges, including Water's Edge for that victory, and then knee-deep in snow, the upset over CZ Rocket and his 8-year-old return to the races. He'll need better going forward. We'll see you tomorrow on FS1.